Welcome to another edition of the Sports War. And we are back. We got the full crew in the house. That is what it's all about. The Yankees, out of any team in the league, are the best equipped to handle a blow like this.
I think there is a higher power at play here. He's due law of averages. That dude is the ultimate scrub. It's trash. Yeah. Every person you have in there is fucking trash.
Next game, you're going to see a big performance. You can see it in the end of the game, and I'm just totally stoked and excited for this.
And we are back. Welcome to another edition of the Sports Board here on a Monday. Barnes and Tony, once again, the run continues for Baker and the boys. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great, man. You said it. The run is running hot and heavy right now. What a win for Baker and the boys. We'll get to it. A lot of great football to get to. A lot of not great football to get to. And a great weekend recap, I'm sure, is upon us, dude. Big weekend that just passed. So
yeah,
dude.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say, Tony, if you want to start, because I'm very interested to hear about this, the dinner, the service, the show. Give me a little something from this past weekend.
Oh yeah, dude. So Sunday, Christmas Spectacular, Radio City, with the Fam Bam, the normal, winter festivities here. So we go into, dude, and maybe this is my fault for not, maybe remembering, or I just wasn't on top of it, but the show on Sunday, last night, 9 p.m. show. And I remember, I don't know if I was telling you or Mike.
Yeah, you were telling me, yeah.
So it's just like, obviously a bit of a curveball, I would say, in terms of timing. But regardless, we headed to the city early, wake up, breakfast, drive in, park. Oh my God, near the parking garage, right near Rockefeller Center, so we'll see the tree, whatever, dude. And it's like, oh my God, dude, backed up because I guess the early show just let out.
Oh.
So the parking garage, there's probably I don't know, maybe 12 people waiting, and they weren't waiting to get their car to leave. So they weren't letting anyone in. So the street was backed up. You're waiting for 20 minutes to even get in the garage and whatnot. So it was definitely pretty hectic. I would say, dude, by far, because obviously my family and I go to the city go to Manhattan every winter, tree, whatever. I would say probably the busiest I've seen it since I don't know, man, 2018.
Wow.
Probably, yeah, absolutely slammed. Can't really walk down certain streets because the sidewalks are just mobbed.
And I'll get to my experience, but same exact thing. I would say the most packed I've ever seen it.
Wild, dude, wild. Yeah. And it's funny because you were there Saturday. We'll get to it because there was a big thing on Saturday because obviously we're on Fifth Avenue, not too far from the Garden as well.
Yeah.
Walking down Saks Fifth Avenue, all the stores, department stores, whatever, doing some shopping, going to the Tag Heuer store, look at some watches. My mother goes to Tiffany or whatever.
Yep. Get a bracelet,
Ferragamo,
necklace,
dude. Exactly. A bag, to get a new pocketbook, dude. And of course, it's Saks Fifth Avenue, so it's very fine, experience.
Yes.
You walk in, they offer you, oh, do you want some Nespresso? Do you want a cookie here? And I'm like, sure.
Yeah.
Other shops have some sweets, whatever. That's great. And then 5 o'clock dinner reservation at Del Frisco's. I don't know why I keep getting the name wrong.
Del Frisco's?
It is
Okay,
Del
that used to
Frisco's.
be in Stanford where Blackstone's is now.
Oh, no kidding.
Yes,
dude.
yes.
That's pretty sick. So great steakhouse, right in the center, obviously, the tree beforehand. But again, packed.
Yeah.
Even to get in the restaurant was a fucking journey, dude. But nonetheless, get seated in the back, gorgeous. They were slammed for sure. And they had a special hazelnut espresso martini out of the hazelnut. Settled for the regular espresso martini, still good. But also, first one was we're out of martini glasses. They gave it to me in a scotch glass. I was like, I don't know what the hell is that. But nonetheless, dude, appetizers, shrimp cocktail, cheese curds, deviled eggs, dude.
Interesting.
Oh my God,
Just with
so
bacon?
good. Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
And all that stuff, really good or
Shrimp cocktail, bad, dude.
bad?
Yeah,
okay, so basically, but not to interrupt here, but this sounds, if I had to just take a guess, just taking a wild guess, like your 1 to 100 Tony meter on this dinner, and you include everything, the service. It seems like we're in like the 60s from the way this is starting.
72. Or
Okay,
70, yeah.
okay.
Because it is like, and not for nothing, we did the same plan last year, and it's like fucking 100 last year. Like it was beyond
At Del Frisco's?
Yes,
Oh,
dude, it was
okay.
beyond amazing. Like even got like the same orders. Like we did the same
Wow,
appetizers
that's
last
surprising.
time.
Yeah.
It's funny, dude. The shrimp cocktail gets to the table for the appetizers. And my mother's like, no, like that's waterlogged. She just looks at it. She's like, that's waterlogged. It's been sitting in fucking ice for probably a couple days.
Wow.
And I tasted it. And it was bland and waterlogged.
Wow.
Yeah. So, obviously they were very nice about it. Obviously didn't pay for it. Whatever. Everything else was delicious. Again, deviled eggs, cheese curds. What else did we get to? Oh, the cheesesteak egg rolls.
Oh, those are always a
my
personal favorite.
God,
of mine.
dude.
I actually had those at Bourbon and Barrel. Like I was
So
talking about.
good,
Those are
so
yeah.
good, dude. And then for dinner, I had the bone-in ribeye. Steak was a little tough, dude. Not gonna lie.
Wow. And you think just maybe like just so many people to like they're just running around like crazy.
Yeah, dude.
There's not focus on individual dinners. I mean,
Yeah.
that's
No, I think very much so. And like, you know, obviously my mother and I were kind of looking around, whatever. And like the guy next to us flubbed his steak, like to the point where like he had sent it back and then maybe forgot about it because the kitchen was backed up.
Jesus.
He didn't get his steak till everyone was
Oh
done
my
eating,
God.
dude. And I was like, oh my God. And then, dude, dessert. Get this Nutella chocolate cake. Were delicious. Well, it was supposed to be bread pudding. I guess
Okay.
it was good. It was very good. It wasn't exactly like bread pudding, but it was still really good. But Irish coffee comes to the table. Whatever I taste is like, oh, this kind of tastes like licorice, you know. He gave me coffee with just like sambuca in it. So they like sent it back, the whipped cream.
quick TO on the Sambuca thing. So
Yeah.
I'm sure you could just picture me doing this. So last year we went to this place in Stanford, Palucci's. Palucci's. And so I had always heard, and me and John would always crack up talking about like watching The Sopranos, and like Tony has his coffee, and they're like, Buca Tone? And I was just like so sad. I'm like, oh, we gotta get Buca, like get it for everybody. And like, I'm the only one that drank it. Like everyone's
Really?
like, this is so disgusting, like mixing it in the coffee. But I was like, it's weird tasting, but I just like was like, oh, this is fine. But everyone was like, this shit sucks. Like everyone was like tight about having it.
Yeah, I can see it's an acquired taste for sure, dude. But it does. I mean, for me, it tastes good and only tastes good in espresso. Like,
Okay, right. Okay.
like I would never
so,
have
yeah,
it straight up or sip on it. People sip on it. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
But obviously, I was like, yo, dude, this is like, and I hate to be that guy,
Right.
but it's also like if that's, especially you know what sambuca tastes like. If that's not what you want to taste and you have to taste it, it's like, oh, it's
beat. Yeah.
it is beat. But nonetheless, positive experience. The guy was really nice. Phil, the waiter, whatever. But obviously, again, like, you know, you're in the city. It's that time of year. You're out to dinner with the family, and again, like you're in the city, so like it's expensive. So obviously, you just want the best, like
Yes.
you know, naturally. So that's what happened. But everything else was good. My dad had braised short rib in like this
Always a
creamy
favorite of mine.
polenta. Oh my
Yeah.
God, dude, so good. My mother New York strip really good. My cousin Angelina chicken sandwich, amazing, dude.
Okay.
So
you just
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
got screwed, basically.
Yeah.
More or
I
less.
guess so, dude. But it was still real. I mean, I ate 80% of the steak. Like I had all the sides, dude. The cream spinach, the mashed potatoes,
Yeah.
dude. The Brussels sprouts, the lobster mac and cheese. Like,
That stuff was good?
oh yeah, everything
Yeah.
was delicious, dude.
Okay. Yeah.
Mac and cheese could have been creamier, I guess. But no, yeah. I mean, everything was great.
And then obviously this isn't my type of thing, but
Mm-hmm.
just a quick question here. The Rockettes, the duration of the show.
Yeah.
I mean, how was that part of it?
Listen, I'm a big fan of the show.
Yeah.
Growing up, going there my entire life. And when I was a kid, we're talking it was like 3 hours,
Yeah.
the intermission in between. Now it's a tight hour and a half, so I breeze through it.
And you probably prefer that, obviously.
No, exactly. Yeah, I handle it. I do miss certain aspects, like of when I was a kid, because again, it was just so much more grand. And like when I was a kid, they kind of did like, Ebenezer Scrooge a little bit. They had like the Ghost of Christmas Past in there, so it was like more of an extensive story. Whereas this is obviously more concise. But I'm a big fan of the show. My dad, because he works for Rock Center, he gets nice tickets and stuff
So you
like
had
that.
good
So
seats.
we're on the floor. Yep, we're in front.
Nice.
And of course, Radio City, grand, music hall. Nothing really anything like it. Seats are very comfortable. A little warm in the house, obviously. There's no way to put your jacket. You gotta sit in the chair with your jacket up, or over your legs, whatever. Definitely packed out, like slammed, dude. Again, especially Radio City, it's like, you get in there, the lobby's so nice, chandeliers, everyone just like stops, takes photos. Who's getting their drink at the bar? Who's gonna get popcorn, buy a fucking ornament, and then we're taking photos. It's like trying to navigate that whole area is a lot. But yeah, once you get to your seat, had a Modelo. It's great. Love the show. Yeah,
great.
Love the
great.
Rockettes, dude. Why you not? Have you ever?
No, it's one of those things.
Never ever.
No, but I just know it's like, just for me, I guess it's like that type of entertainment. Like I can't like dial in on it. And
really?
Like, yeah, it's just like, I don't know. You know what? For me, it's like, and like I said, it's no way to insult them or anybody who likes it. It's like me watching like commercials for a couple hours. Like I can't get into it.
Commercials.
No, seriously though. Yeah. Like, but listen, I know I'm very particular about certain things, but that's just how it is for me. But overall though, glad you had a good time.
Yes.
But I mean, I would think anyway, next year you're probably gonna do a different restaurant, huh?
That's very interesting. Yeah, if like my parents, yeah, definitely, they definitely would do something different.
Because we'll get to my restaurant experience, but let's say it was just a complete opposite. But anyway, so, long day. So we had, it was me, Mark, Mike, and Corey, for the UConn Gonzaga game on Saturday. So we had a 2:45 reservation at Tony DiNapoli's, which, if anybody isn't familiar with there, basically same thing as Carmine's, kind of a family style place, full Italian deal, all of that.
Dog.
So yeah, we got the train. I think it was at 1:20. It was running late. Mark was going to take the train out of Milford, but there was no parking there. So he actually drove to Stanford, and then he's bugging about finding parking. He's sprinting to the track, but the train was running late because there was so many people. So on the whole way there, we had to stand in the aisle. I've never seen the train like this, and I'm sure I was talking to other people about this. They're like, oh, you guys, they don't care. But I'm like, there's no way that this is like fire code. Like, it's like you can't move.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
you're
no
just
way.
stuck in the aisle. And Mark always gets riled because because we always, like, when we go to dinner like that with everyone, we always get wine. So he doesn't like going back and forth, which I don't know. For me, it's like, whatever, I could do it. So he brings a bottle of wine on the train. So we start with that, which actually made it better, honestly, because it's like, this is like uncomfortable. It's hot in here. I got my coat on. I can't even move. So that was kind of nuts. But then, city packed everywhere. SantaCon, same day. So just the timing, and then also people were there. Not that they probably wish they were there for this, but the Ranger game was also that day. So just city was packed all over the place. But we get to Tony DiNapoli's. They sit us downstairs. So, and it was good. I made this reservation weeks ago. And it's like 2:45 games a day. Everyone's like, you can't get anything later. It's like, no, that's literally like the only thing. Good thing I booked it. So they take us downstairs. Almost felt like a Tony Soprano type of dinner. Down the steps. Kind of felt like exclusive area type of thing. We get the house cab. The bread was amazing. The Earl, the butter, and then for the apps, we go with the bread, the calamari. And the rollatini, perfect amount, awesome. Had a couple baskets of bread, of course. And then for dinner, we kind of did the traditional, but there was a little spin on it because they had a special. So it was chicken parm, but in vodka sauce with burrata on top.
Oh.
Amazing, melts in your mouth. So we loved that. And then their rigatoni vodka is like their penny vodka, and it typically comes with mushrooms. Everyone was kind of like, I don't know if I want mushrooms in this. I had it on the side, so it was like a side cup of like mushrooms and sauce. So dude. Good, like so creamy. And I know you're right. You like the red versus the creamy, right? So, but this is my it's like as creamy as it can get. So good. I like the mushrooms. You like mushrooms or no? Okay, so
nasty.
I love it. So it was just amazing, and it was interesting too because it's like portion wise, I would say they probably gave us like less than what like Carmine's would be, but because you had all the bread, the apps, it was actually perfect rather than being like so stuffed, and there was still like some chicken parm left out there. And then I know too sweet, dude, but we got the tiramisu to split, perfect amount. So like we each got a little square. That was great. So overall, great service. We were there for a couple hours. Amazing. So anybody that hasn't checked out Tony DiNapoli's, I highly
Let's fucking go,
recommend
dude.
it. So that was a great way to start. And then we're like, okay, Army Navy's still going on. So let's go watch some of the college basketball games. But because of SantaCon, all of the bars were so packed, you couldn't get into Jack Dempsey's, you couldn't get into Legends. So we ended up going to Stout, like just no room, so hard to get a drink, get up to the bar. It's hot in there. Luckily, we kind of split up, did a divide and conquer, so we each get 2 beers, chilled there for like, I don't know, an hour, watch the games. So that was good. Huge line getting into the Garden for the game. You don't even see any Gonzaga stuff. All UConn stuff, the chants, everybody's fired
awesome.
up. We had good seats, section 206. They got me on the end, which was great. So just comfortable. Concession right outside, kind of similar to what we had when we went to the Rangers game.
We lucked out so much there.
We did. So the atmosphere was so electric. The introductions, I had put it on my story. Everybody going absolutely nuts. I mean, if you closed your eyes, you would have thought you were at Gampel or the XL Center. Absolutely unbelievable. And just such a great game because it's like they got off to this good start. And somewhere around the effect of they were up like 12-2 or 14-5, like something like that. Gonzaga comes back, and then ever since Gonzaga came back, the whole score was in single digits the entire game. Every call, the crowd's getting into it. They started out with a bunch of alley-oops as well. The energy was unbelievable. Hurley going nuts. And I have to say, and I know he's watching now, so when he hears this, he's probably going to get so excited he's going to jump through a wall. And I said this in our group chat over the weekend, but I had to say, Michael Butka, 100% spot on with UConn, with Dan Hurley. And sometimes it's tough to have a perspective, especially because, like, me and Matt, going to Eastern right down the street from UConn. We were there all the time. We went to games. We were on campus at UConn when they won the couple of championships. So you get kind of used to that, and you don't realize, like, when you take a step back, and obviously, again, me and Matt, our full focus all the time, the Yankees.
Yep.
But now that it's the offseason, you just realize, like, the tradition at UConn, the fan energy, the fact that you think about how far away Storrs, Connecticut is to Madison Square Garden, and you have a full arena chanting, edge of their seat. I mean, it was just unbelievable. So I think it really just kind of reinvigorated just how exciting and what a strong tradition UConn basketball is. So it kind of got me riled for possibly, and I kind of was saying, I don't know, Michael Butka, maybe he's getting a little too ahead of himself, like going for the three-peat, this and that. And listen, they had some areas where it seemed like their defense needs to play better, but just the fact between the crowd energy, their energy on the court, the tradition in Hurley, I just where the program is, it's a lot to be proud of, and I'm really excited to watch them the rest of the season. And it was just an all-time experience. And actually, we already because we were excited about it, so we're gonna go back. It's like the second to the last game of the season. They're playing St. John's at the Garden, so we're gonna go back for that.
That's awesome.
And it's just so much fun. And like I said, it's just so crazy because, like, we all have, our teams that we're focused on. But just when you have a team that's been, in the hierarchy, but maybe not at the top, when you realize just how special it is. So that's the kind of feeling I had watching that game. Obviously, they gutted out. I think, they ended up winning by 6 or 7, whatever the case may be. And then I was riled too. So everybody going nuts, of course, after they win. And then when we were walking down the stairs, I got the UConn Huskies. Like, I was leading it like 3 times.
That's sick.
So it was awesome, honestly. It was just such a great time. So always enjoy, just watching UConn and just all the good teams they've had over the years. So hopefully they can keep, improving. I mean, that was a big win, a top 10 win for them. So yeah, then we did that, went to this place, a Bourbon and Barrel, and it, like, they have an upstairs area. That's where we were, kind of diagonally across from the Garden. So had a couple drinks there. It had the Coney Island Lager. I don't know if you've ever had that one, Tony.
Yeah.
Very
Brewing.
good.
Yeah, very solid.
good.
Very solid.
So had that, the Philly cheesesteak, egg rolls, the wings, kind of like a nightcap scenario. And then I think, our train, I want to say, was at like 107 or something. And again, same thing. Couldn't sit, standing. Everybody's hammered from SantaCon. So it was just kind of crazy, but got back pretty late. But I have to say, just what an experience. And again, Tony, like it's like obviously it's about UConn, but also it definitely is about Madison Square Garden. I mean, just what a special place it is. And it's been great to have been there already 3 times this year. The 2 Ranger games with you, and then this game.
Oh yeah.
And obviously some others, down the line this year for sure. So yeah, just a great experience.
What time did you get back?
Got back about the same time as when we got back, about 2:30. So
Let's fucking go, dude.
yeah, so it was a full day.
Fall asleep on the train?
Didn't fall asleep in the train because I was standing. I mean, how am I going to sleep standing? No, definitely not. So yeah, overall, great experience, and I think you've said this too, Tony, before. There's just nothing like being at Madison Square Garden like this time of year, especially
Absolutely,
Christmas, winter time. So look forward to going back there for sure. And just wanted to share that with everybody. But I know we have a lot of comments. So if you want to get to those,
Right, you are, dude. That's right. Let's get back up to the top here. Early and often here, Josh B. ready to go this morning for the classic Monday in corporate America. On top of that, he has a class he's taking. Archives for me today. Have a week, fam. #TC, #sports, #DTV. Catch you later, Josh B. Tommy Donovan, dude. Good morning,
Tommy
fam.
Josh.
Worried. DTV snow day today. No, dude. Good Lord, the Rangers need one. That's absolutely right. He also says Army Navy may have been the high watermark of the weekend for him. Kev Taylor says, let's go, dude. We want the smoke Monday night football. Hopefully the Vikings and the Falcons lose, dude. Michael Buckta in the house says, good morning, boys. Pretty bad effing day for the Steelers, but Barnes, how about that UConn? You know what it do.
UConn Huskies.
Also, Matthew Ryan, I think it'd be great if you can meet Ian Somerhalder, knowing I met Dan Hurley, dude.
Mr. Summonholder.
And he shouts out Kev Dew and Josh B. And then Jay Bird says, you guys should come to my restaurant. Pascal and Sabine in Asbury is goated, dude. He's excited to see the crew this weekend. I'll be there Saturday in the AM. He says, big DTV Christmas party. You know the deal, dude.
Can't wait to see Josh B.
Jay
I mean,
Bird.
not Josh B. Jason Livertelli.
No, he'll remember that one. He'll remember that one, dude.
Yeah.
It's over,
Love you, buddy.
dude.
Love
it's
you, buddy.
over. And he says, LOL, Terry Massou.
Terry Massou.
Terry
How
Massou,
are you?
dude. Michael Thief in the house says, Goats, let's go. Best sports show is back. And then he says, RL USD goes live tomorrow.
Michael.
Rufus announced XRP to the moon. I believe
If there was an
emojis are,
XRP
dude.
chant like the UConn one, I would do it right now, Michael.
Speaking of Michael, he says, MSG is stores south, as Dan Hoey would say. Yeah, I mean, I guess.
No, they
so,
do
yeah.
say no. They do say that. That was all over social media,
No,
their
I'm
Instagram account.
That's cute.
Continue.
Michael Buck says it's going to be a Dan Hurley themed week this week for me, dude. Dan Hurley greater than
honestly,
Summerholder, dude.
I love to hear this. I swear to God, because it just this is like, and I appreciate it so much more, honestly, because I feel like before it was okay, Michael, like the season just started, like it's not Hurley mode. But I have to say there's just something, and I think even Tony and Michael Bucka, I want this to be your homework assignment. We need to get the excitement for the UConn Huskies out of Tony, because it's in there somewhere. He doesn't realize it. And I think, he just needs that firsthand game experience to really appreciate it. And I think the difference is, Tony, the reason why I think it's difficult for you, because all of us, grew up in Connecticut.
Right.
Remember watching UConn back in '99 and with Ray Allen, Emeka Okafor in '04, Ben Gordon. So you didn't grow up with it.
No.
So now I feel like it's a different perspective. You're turned off by the monotony of shoe basketball. And I think that's all it is.
Monogamy of the NBA.
And I think if a UConn gave it the Garden, It's just what you need to, get you going.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe if I was working the game at the Garden, that would get me going.
But if you were just even with us on Saturday, like the full day, then going there, the games back and forth, the alley oops. Yeah. I'm telling you, it's just the inner resistance. But I think if you allowed yourself to experience it, I think you'd have a completely different. I swear to God, I'm not even being funny. I'm dead
serious.
Experience
like just the game.
Yes.
No, yeah, I'm sure I will be into it, dude. Like I said, I was into it when I worked the game. Like their pregame routine for UConn, very intensive, dude. Yeah. And I would imagine at the Garden, it's a little bit more extra, dude.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's going to be the extent of it, though. I'm not going to be probably that hyped to be watching.
But I'm telling you, there's something about different, being at the XL Center when they're playing Loyola, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And winning by 40. It's not the same as defeating a top 10 team, a Hall of Fame coach and Mark Few. I think no, it's all right, but you're just not realizing it. But I know you would realize it because there's a difference in being at the Garden for UConn versus being anywhere else. I'm telling you, promise you, not lying.
No, I mean you're probably right. I mean it's the Garden,
Yeah, because like I said, I had kind of been like, oh, okay, they won the last 2 years, whatever. It doesn't matter what they do this year. But I swear it was this thing. Because I think what it is for me, and I think a lot of us big sports fans are like this, I just appreciate tradition and greatness and passion. And I think UConn demonstrates all of that.
Yeah, no, absolutely, dude. Clearly. I mean, it's evident in their level of play.
Yeah, exactly. Because you think about it, I think it's
legacy.
Since 99, so we're talking about a quarter of a century, they've won 6 titles. And it's in college basketball these days, especially, all the nonsense that you have to deal with, the transfer portal, the NIL, that type of consistency, unbelievable. And the fact, too, that through those 6 championships, you've won them with 3 different head coaches. So, I mean, they're clearly doing something right.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it's good for them, good for the sport.
Yeah, absolutely. Couple Michael Bucket comments before we get to the weekend of football.
Dude. If you want to take it, so Michael Bucket says, Tony, the Mufasa movie is coming out this week. Can we get Barnes to see it too? A little homework assignment for you, Brian.
The theme, Michael. What happened to the theme, dude?
Speaking of the theme, he says that's an easy homework assignment for him, dude. Give him something harder,
yes,
dude.
Michael, yes.
Mark Few is a Hall of Fame coach,
He's
question mark?
It. I know we just played against him, whatever, but yes. I mean, you look at the track record, what he's done in Spokane. Tony doesn't even know what state that's in. To be able to be there he's been there for 25 years. So what he's done, almost winning a national championship, being a part of a mid-major like the West Coast Conference, they're going to move into the Pac-12 in a couple of years. Unbelievable job what he's done. Obviously the final hurdle, of course, winning that national championship. But I think what he's done already is enough to get him in, Michael.
He also says, so is Dan Hurley, dude. Jay Burr says that school's in Washington State. Michael Thiefel says Tony is hating. Matthew Gabriel says, come on. Barnes. Oh, sorry. No, that was Michael Buck says Matty G. How about that UConn? And Matty G says Barnes, go see Mufasa, dude. Come on, dude. And Michael Buck is begging. Come on, buddy.
Come on.
For me?
Let's go, Michael.
For me?
You can.
And Matthew Gabriel says, let's go, Michael. UConn. Mufasa and Snow White. Whoa!
I feel like we're retreating, Michael. We're retreating.
I mean, just when you said how excited you were, Brian, how proud you are, you praise Michael and he betrays you.
We give him a standing ovation, and then he does that.
Her
right here.
Oh.
So
That's pretty much it for the comments.
But your mother? Oh, don't forget that.
Oh, my mother. Whoa.
Oh,
my mother says, hi, fellas. Thank you. That's me for a beautiful weekend, even with the soggy shrimp, she says,
yeah.
Dude.
Oh.
Shrimp cocktail. Come on, dude.
Man.
Not hard. Not hard, dude.
Yes.
And then Jay Bird says, Michael Buckta. Buckta says, can you give me a lightning pass on that one?
Yes.
Barnes?
Yes, Michael. Because, like I said, the excitement of the UConn Huskies
Matthew Gabriel
hitting on the head from day one.
The betrayal, dude.
The betrayal. And also the world of the National Football League.
He wants Jefferson, climbs the ladder. Oh, my goodness. Justin Jefferson, the catch of his life.
Burrow fires, intercepted. picked off and a pick six. Minka Fitzpatrick, an absolute ball hawk.
Niners twist up front and get to Tagovailoa. Bosa again. Mahomes escaping on the move, stops, spins, flips it forward for the touchdown.
Stop it.
Aaron Jones. Oh, what a tackle. Quincy Williams with a pile driver.
Right, all right. So what a Sunday in the
Sunday.
National Football League, especially that 425 window. Always one of my personal favorites, loaded with games. And
Let's go, dude.
and you know what was kind of tough, and you know, Michael and Matthew, you know, were over yesterday, so we're watching the games.
Greasy bastard.
Speaking of a greasy bastard, we were thinking about what Woody Johnson was thinking about the Jets coming back on Jacksonville to win 32-25. Devontae Adams, the 9 for 198 with 2 scores after getting shut out in the first half. And Rodgers, you know, the back-to-back games looking really good. We were saying there's no way
Crazy.
that he's not. I mean, I know it sounds like I'm kidding, but like getting a stiffy about the way Rodgers and the Jets offenses looked the past 2 weeks. So not only does it kind of hurt just in terms of the draft position, but I think this type of performance, and you look at the numbers for Rodgers here, especially struggling in the first half. I think he only had 52 yards, but he finishes 16-30 for 289, 9.6 yards per attempt or per completion, 3 touchdowns, no picks, sacked once, a QBR of 80, his best game basically as a Jet, the downfield running for 45 yards. You could tell me I'm wrong, but there's no way that Woody is getting all excited and now is thinking, well, I mean, maybe we need Act 2 here. Or 3, technically, but we know last year was 4 plays.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's still, I still think it's a little bit up in the air. I mean, I kind of always thought it. I don't think it was really that definitive. But, I mean, if you're Woody Johnson and you think this game proves anything, then you're a fucking idiot, dude. Because it really doesn't prove anything. I mean, the Jaguars are one of the worst teams in the leagues here. And not to mention, it's like, I don't know, he didn't even really freaking play that great. It's like, yeah, all of a sudden now you and Adams want to go off because you're going against a shitty Jacksonville team. Like stop. And you still give up 25 points. Like, the team still sucks, dude.
The
you know?
defense, yeah.
So, like, give me a fucking break.
No, I know, give me a break, but don't you think, because we know Woody does not have a sound mind, Tony. He's excited. This is pushing him back in that other direction. He's far removed from the Rodgers potential week 3 or 4 benching that he was thinking about. Now you know he's thinking about, oh, what coach can I bring in here to get the best out of them? One more run. The Last Dance documentary is definitely going off in the Johnson household. You know it. You know that that's what he's thinking.
Enigma, dude.
Right? Because he always thinks of the wrong thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess so. But I mean, dude, if he truly was thinking about benching Rodgers in week 3, week 4, whatever that was, and he does a 180 now because of a game like this, then, like, what the fuck, dude?
But I'm saying, does that not follow Woody's narrative?
Yeah, I suppose it does. I suppose
making the wrong decision.
Yes, no, you're not wrong. I suppose, but I feel like still, even though in a season where he did do things maybe a little bit against his normal grain, you know, getting rid of Salah mid-season, even talking about benching Rodgers and whatnot, even though it's like arguable that Salah was doing some type of good with the team, but regardless, I don't know. I don't think he's thinking that. I don't think he is.
What about his tweet from Michael?
What do you say?
It's verbatim, Tony.
What do we got going on here? At Tay15 Adams and Aaron Rodgers put on a show #New York,
and that
Jets,
would be a
dude.
Direct tweet
An hour
from Mr.
ago.
Johnson.
Yeah. Okay. So I mean. So you think he's going to want to start Aaron Rodgers?
But I'm saying, the way you're talking, you're acting like it would be a surprise, knowing this maniac that is the Jets owner.
I would be surprised.
But I'm saying, why? What has given you confidence that he would do the right thing and realize the organization needs to reset, need to grow with a younger quarterback?
Because who is he going to get to, like, be a coach for this team? He's going to run it back? He's not going to run it back with what he can.
Back.
Who's taking this job, though? Like, who's and
Michael, he's coming back. It's obvious. Like I said, Tony, I think you're more thinking of the logical thing, and we're trying to tell you like just about what this guy does
Right.
and what we've seen before, not what makes sense.
All right. I mean, I guess time will tell. There's only one way
Yeah.
to find out, I guess, right?
I mean, you think there's just no way that like it would work with Rex? Like we're in terms of like even like,
Absolutely not.
Rodgers would even play.
If it works with Rex, it's not going to be like Rodgers isn't going to be on the team. There's no way.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, there's no shot at all, dude. And there's also you can't even draft a quarterback because I figure you draft a quarterback and
That's
then
gonna be
have
some
Rodgers
nice
is tight, dude. So it's like
thing.
he puts you in this chokehold of there's nothing you can do, and then like there's no way that I don't know. I mean, well, I guess we'll see, dude.
What about your
Bird.
good buddy, Josh P?
Definitely coming back. They're gonna draft a young QB, preferably the Penn State quarterback, and have him win from Rodgers, which I guess has been done in the past, but I don't know, dude. I mean, it's hard to get
But
inside
especially
the head of Aaron Rodgers.
but if Aaron Rodgers is coming back, obviously he's coming back because he wants the run, and so you go draft a quarterback in the like that's just gonna set off this whole thing. It's like, unfortunately, that forces you to take a quarterback in the middle rounds instead of the first rounds,
right?
Because of him coming back.
No, but see, like, I don't know, because again, like to go back to my earlier statement where it's like, I didn't say necessarily that, you know, I was saying that there isn't a definitive chance that Rodgers isn't coming back, but I don't think, like, Woody is still going to plan for the future.
I'm telling you, Tony. He's which you understand it.
So Taylor and Rodgers back, dude.
Taylor?
Who's your backup for the Jets?
Oh, I don't know why you were making me think of. Yes, it is Tyrod Taylor. We weren't talking about him. That's why I was just confused.
No, I'm saying, but those are the two quarterbacks you're going to be seeing on the roster next year, 1 and 2. Is that what you're saying?
I mean, that's what it just seems like something Woody would do. That's all I'm saying. And maybe draft a third one inactive all year, but it can't be in the first round because Rodgers is going to flip out. You know what? I'm so tight, and I know Jay's tight about this too. And I think the guy is playing at Fasanu or whatever, the guy we took from Penn State. Speaking of Penn State, by the way, the quarterback he's talking about is Drew Aller, junior, 21
State,
touchdowns, 7 picks.
Is he declaring for the draft? Is that a fact?
I mean, you know, he hasn't announced it yet, but I think it's, you know, something
Because he's making a lot of money in college.
Um,
He may want to stay there.
But I mentioned this before the draft, and I mocked the Jets to taking him, and he's already set the record for rookies. He has the most receptions for a tight end in the league, Brock Bowers. I knew it. He's the Raiders tight end.
Yeah, he's not playing right now, right?
No, he is, and he set the
really?
Yes.
I thought they sat him.
No. You're thinking about somebody else. But it's so annoying. I knew we should have taken him, but again, not making the right decisions. So it'll be interesting how that situation plays out, and I hope that, you know, this doesn't prevent the Jets like from taking someone else because they win a game like this. And I think they play. Is it the? For some reason, I was thinking it was.
The Jets?
Oh, it is the Rams. Okay, they do play the Rams next week, which you would think that they would lose, but would history not repeat itself? We end up with Zach Wilson because we beat Goff, McVay, you know, all those years ago. Would the same thing not happen again, Tony? Because Rodgers is jacked, wants to just bomb it down the field to Devontae Adams. Like, I'm not expecting it, but I'm just saying that's how it usually goes with the Jets.
So you're saying they're going to win the Rams against the Rams?
I mean, I'm saying
no way.
I'm not expecting it, but I'm saying I also would not be shocked.
Yeah, I guess so. I just feel like, I don't know.
No, they suck. I understand that. I'm just saying because of just how things work with them.
Right. Okay.
Right? Because I know that's your narrative. Like, they're not good. They beat
They're
the
not good.
Jags. Like, I
Yes.
understand that.
Yeah.
So be interesting, but it's just never easy as a Jets fan. that's
a
for
fact.
sure. So just going down the list here, with the games, the Chiefs finally cover, but a little bittersweet. So they win 21-7, but Mahomes,
Leaves.
I believe they're referring to it as a ankle injury.
Yes, that's correct.
Didn't look good, hobbling, intense pain. So Carson Wentz, had to finish this one out, and they're calling it week to week. But my thought here is, I mean, unless Mahomes is 100%, I mean, he should basically not play the rest of the season. I mean, they have 13 wins. Like, it's like they're going to run into another win and get the number 1 seed, you would think.
Yeah, and I think that they're Carson Wentz, right?
Yeah.
Is their
Who's obviously
backup,
played
so
a
it's
lot
like
of games, almost won
can
an MVP.
handle it, dude. And then again, you think about it too. I mean, there's a short turnaround as well. Saturday, I think they're playing, right?
I'm trying to think of who it's
pretty sure
against.
they're playing this Saturday. Maybe
I know it's
against
Ravens Steelers. The other game, Texans.
Houston.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. And then I even think they have another quick turnaround, maybe for
They do, yes,
for Christmas or
against the
something.
Steelers,
which is kind of wild. But again, you win one of those games, you end up, getting a bye or whatever. You're letting Mahomes rest for the playoffs. Like, the ankle should be fine, right?
like I think what it is the Bills would have to win out and the Chiefs would have to lose out. I think, if I'm not mistaken. So I think the Bills have 3 losses.
Correct.
Yeah, so to be ahead of them, I
Yeah,
think that's
they
what
would have to
need to happen.
Yeah. But I mean, like, how likely is that necessarily?
No, exactly. I mean, it's not. But I have to say, I was surprised that the Chiefs won like this. But I think it was the defense. Obviously, they get Winston, the human interception, 3 picks, benched for DTR later in the game.
He threw a pick too.
Yep, and then Jerry Jeudy, just continuing his hot streak here. First 1,000-yard season of his career, 1052, 4 scores. Will be a free agent after the season. So will be an attractive target, for teams in need at wide receiver. But yeah, it's interesting. I mean, you would think they'll figure something out in terms of Mahomes here. But I think this definitely puts a little bit of a, I don't know, dagger or just kind of, creates a big question for Kansas City because we already had questions about the offense and then a 100% Mahomes. We saw how bad they got beaten down in the Super Bowl a couple years ago by Tommy in the Bucs, Tony.
Tommy in the Bucs, huh? Wow,
Right?
dude. Yeah,
That
absolutely.
was before Baker
And the
became a
run.
Buck.
Yeah, dude. Which, I mean, whatever, dude. Tommy in the Bucs is fine. But in any case, did you see this, Jay Bird?
What did he say?
Fresh off ESPN, Drew Allaire plans to stay at
He just said
Penn
we're drafting
State,
him.
dude. So,
So can we trust Josh B here? I think a couple of those times you thought I said it again. Or no, now I'm searching for it.
Yeah. But it's kind of crazy, dude. Not for nothing, because I think that's going to be, speaking about it the other day when Penn State versus Oregon. No, who'd they play?
They did play Oregon.
They were saying how much money this guy's making in college. Like, he may not declare for the draft.
But that only comes into play if the guys are like, middle, end of first round. But anybody that's top 10 solidified, top 5 solidified, they're not going to do that.
Yeah, but wouldn't this guy be one of them?
No, not top 5.
You don't think he'll be?
No. Absolutely
To
not.
top 10 first.
I said
Top 10, top 5.
No, I guarantee they were giving a mid-first round grade. Guarantee
Really?
it, Tony. Go call Kuiper right now. Dave probably has a sell, right?
How much money do you think they would make if they're a mid-round draft pick? Entry level is signing bonus?
No, it's just overall. No, because the reason why I was actually having this argument with Mark the other day about Arch Manning.
Really?
But even with okay, you can make a couple $1 million in college, but nothing is going to be better than a multi-year guaranteed contract in the NFL. So unless your draft stock is that bad, you're not going to pass up the $30 to $40 to $50 million guaranteed that you would have in the draft. It doesn't make sense. It's only if your stock is way down,
right,
and you need to rehabilitate that.
All right, well, there you have it, dude.
The Bengals, 37-27 in Tennessee.
Dude.
Burrow,
I don't give
3
a shit.
touchdowns, 2 picks. Chase Brown just under 100 yards here, 1 score. Jamar Chase 9 for 94. Bengals, I don't know. I guess they're technically not eliminated.
They're not technically eliminated,
but they need to win out, and all these teams need to lose, which is not going to happen.
It's not.
But every time I see them, I talk about this. I talked about this last week. I was talking about when we were watching the games yesterday. It's just it's like one of the biggest wastes of talent, waste of a team, that I've ever seen. So you would just hope that they figure it out, maybe make some changes on the coaching staff. I guess Zach Taylor will stay. We'll see how the season finishes, but maybe on the defensive side, Lou Amarillo potentially. But you want to see Burrow and the boys in the playoffs.
Yeah, definitely, dude. I mean, think Burrow deserves it. You know, I mean, geez, dude. I mean, he came in the league, Heisman Trophy winner, the championships, the cigars, and it's just like going toe to toe with Mahomes as well. But then after that, it was just like a sad song, dude, and that's what it is. I mean, this game is kind of crazy too because it's like reminds me of Jets beating the Jaguars because it's like wow, big fucking deal. You beat the Titans, you're 6-8. You need a hope and a prayer to make the playoffs. And you still gave up 27 points to the Titans. Like, your defense is not good. Your offensive line is not good. You have a top quarterback in the league and a top receiver in the league. And then you have T. Higgins. And it's like, and then you have
going to be a free agent.
Shubba Hubbard?
No, that's
not
Chase Brown.
Chase Brown.
Yeah.
So you have the ability to run. And it's like, why are you 6-8? You know, it's just such a waste of talent.
But I do think, kind of speaking of what you said, you know, you get a new DC in there, you focus on the line and the defense in the draft. Probably a pretty quick turnaround next season, I would imagine. I think they'll learn from this season. It's just disappointing for us. Like we said, we want to see them battle them out, come playoff time. So interesting situation to monitor. One team that will be in the playoffs most likely is the Commanders. Their 9th win yesterday.
Crazy win.
Just hanging in there, 20-19. The Saints scoring a touchdown with no time on the clock. Spencer Rattler throwing the touchdown pass. They go for 2, don't get it. The Riz. I know Jay would have been riled. But the Commanders hang on there. Jaden Daniels looked pretty good. 25 of 31, 226, 2 scores. Had some deep balls to McLaren. I look at the Commanders, Tony, and I don't know about you. I think they're like, a growing team, an ascending team. I think it's evident, though, in almost not winning this game, is they're just not quite ready to advance and actually be a serious contender. They'll be in the playoffs. Maybe they win wild card weekend. Probably not. But it's not like this is a team you could say, well, they get hot. Maybe they're in the Super Bowl. But then again, I mean, how many times you say that about a team with a rookie quarterback? And I think they just must be happy to be having one of their best seasons in quite some time, probably since RG3's rookie year.
Yeah, you would think so. It's kind of funny you mentioned that. I mean, but it is. Yeah, it's almost like they're the Packers last year, I guess. Right? I mean, the great regular season, like a lot of glimpses in what could look like a franchise quarterback and a significant turnaround for an organization. So that's cool. Is McLaren? Is he's the one that's been there like
not that long? I mean, he's probably like 28, if I had to guess.
Oh, okay, but he's been there for. I thought he's been there. Like he was drafted there.
Yeah, he's been there.
He's been through the name change, the coaching changes, the quarterbacks. Yeah, he's 29.
Okay. Yeah, he's
yeah,
grizzled vet.
Yeah, I mean, at least for the Commanders roster, sure. Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
And then obviously Daniels, another Heisman winner. I mean, you would imagine a game like this, like it'd be like 41-19.
Yeah, but I think it's like, you know what I mean? That team has been down for so long, and I think you have to give the new ownership group with Josh Harris, bringing in a guy like Dan Quinn. It was questioned, is this the right coach? The Super Bowl collapse, and then, having the success with Dallas with the Cowboys on defense. It's worked out well. So I think it's building blocks, and they're going to be a team to reckon with for sure. A team that doesn't look like they're heading in that direction is the New York Giants. And they get blown out at home here, 35-14. Really was a 35-7 game. They score a touchdown in the fourth quarter here. Lamar, almost a perfect game, Tony.
Ridiculous.
21-25, 5 scores. So embarrassing the Giants, embarrassing Dable, embarrassing Mara. And it's just interesting. I mean, even though as an organization like the Giants, where you are right now, it's like, yes, you want to get that number 1 pick. They're the favorite for the number 1 pick now. But I just don't see how, especially Mara, I don't know. I don't see how we could watch this and not be like, okay, well, I mean, even though we've had a lot of turnover, the coach, the whole coaching staff, the general manager, the front office, they all got to go. I don't know how he looks at this and doesn't see that.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it may be like what you think to be like another Woody situation, where he's just like blinded or I don't know, delusional. Because I mean, not for nothing, it's like, especially, I mean, if you're watching this game and you're watching a team like the Ravens, you're watching Lamar Jackson who's having like an MVP caliber year. It's like, how do you not look at yourself in the mirror and think like, well, something's like got to change significantly, dude?
Yeah.
And it's like, look how long Lamar has been on the Ravens for, Like they've been building that team for a while. They've been building him up for a while. And it's like, you've had a lot of turnover at the quarterback position, the failure at the QB position, the failure in your coaching staff. It's like, you got to figure it out, dude.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see what they do, what quarterback they take, especially if they get the number 1 pick. Lamar, though, this year, and again, this game, you take it with a grain of salt. The Giants are a dumpster fire. But, I mentioned the 5 touchdowns, almost perfect with the completions. But how about as a whole on the season, Tony? 35-80 through the year, 34 touchdowns, 3 interceptions.
Wow.
So he's already, with 3 games left, put together the best season of his career. Sure, the rushing total will probably come in a little shy of what it was, but you look back to his 2019 season, 36 touchdowns, 6 picks. And he's already 3 less interceptions right now, and he's already thrown for over 400 yards more, and he's played 1 game less. So it is amazing what he's doing. But again, I guess it just comes down to when it comes playoff time, are they going to be able to get the job done? And it does appear anyway that they don't have that vaunted Ravens defense that they've had in the past. So they're going to have to win games like this where Lamar is throwing for 5 touchdowns.
Correct, dude. That 2019 year, that was his MVP year.
Yes.
And where did he end up in the playoffs?
Like, I
Was
think
it
he
first
lost.
round?
I think they had a bye, and I think they lost to actually the Titans, Tony, with Ryan Tannehill at quarterback, who then lost to the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game.
That's kind of wild.
Yeah. So,
2019, 1 game played.
obviously we know the talent's there, but it's just this is a big year, and especially if a hobbled Mahomes is in the playoffs. I mean, even if you do have to go to Kansas City, you would think anyway that this would be an opportunity that you would need to take advantage of if you ever want to get over that hump.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, you look at that 1 game too in 2019, threw for 365 yards, 1 touchdown pass, 2 picks.
Yeah.
Can't do that.
No. So be interesting to see for sure. The Cowboys, 30-14 over the Panthers. And it was interesting. That game, it was Panthers -3 was the spread, which seemed
Very
ridiculous.
Yep.
Oh, the Vegas trap, no trap whatsoever. And Rico Dowdle, Tony. Jerry, I mean, I don't know if this was a Jerry call or Mike McCarthy or whatever, but whoever made the decision not to give this man the ball regularly during the game is an idiot, because 149 yards, 6 yards per carry. Unbelievable what he's doing. And again, I know it's Carolina. I think they have the worst run defense in the league, whatever. But clearly this guy has talent. Cooper Rush had a great game, 3 scores, finding CeeDee Lamb 9 for 116 and a touchdown. Cowboys 6-8, I guess technically hanging in there. But of course, the writing's on the wall. And it's interesting again, and there's been talks like, what are they going to do moving forward? McCarthy, Micah Parsons is due for an extension. Do they think about maybe trading him, kind of replenishing the cupboard? Dak's the highest paid quarterback in the league. This feels like a very pivotal point for the Cowboys if they ever want to even consider or think or dream of getting back to the glory days of the early to mid-90s.
If you had to put your Houdini hat on, dude, would you say McCarthy comes back?
I think what's going to happen is they're going to finish especially if they win out, McCarthy's going to come back. What do you think?
Honestly, I think almost regardless, McCarthy's coming back.
Yeah.
Because like you were saying, like it seems like that the players do think highly of him, at least right now anyway.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And it's like, to us, it doesn't feel like the right move, but I think also Jerry probably has in his head, this guy has won a Super Bowl before, and he's going to do it again here. But it's just like, I don't know. It just, the way last season ended, getting blown out by Green Bay in the playoffs.
Not good.
And then starting the season the way they did. I know all the injuries and Dak and all that, but I don't know. To me, that was a red flag, but we'll see what they do. The Texans clinched the AFC South 9-5, 20-12 over Miami, who really, that was kind of the dagger in their playoff hopes. Again, not technically eliminated, but 2 of 3 picks, worst game that he's played since he came back. But it's interesting. It just seems like with the Texans, it is the same thing every week. Like limited offense, hold down the opponent, win by a possession. It seems like we're getting that every week. What do you think about that? I mean, do you think, they were the kind of the talk of the league last year, the surprise of how well they played, and obviously didn't end up working out in the playoffs. The Ravens beat them pretty good, but What do you think about Houston here? Because it seems like almost reminds me in a sense like a lesser version of the way Kansas City has been playing this year.
Yeah, no, I was just about to say that, and again, you look at the outcomes of the games, and yes, they've won some big games. Bills they beat by 3 points earlier in the season, which is crazy. Even to start the year, back-to-back wins, Colts and Bears, like. At that time, you were thinking, all right, like those teams could be competitive this year. Caleb Williams, the Bears, Richardson, Colts, whatever. But it's those tough losses against the Jets, against the Lions too, like you said, in a possession where it just makes you think like if they play like this in a playoff game, it really could be almost a flip of the coin in terms of who's winning this game. Even 2 weeks ago, like you almost lost to the Jaguars.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, like you said, it does feel like a lesser Kansas City team, I suppose. But I don't know, man. I mean, we've seen how this team can rise to the occasion, I suppose, as well. Even though it hasn't been a ton of times this year against good teams. I mean, they're still going to be a threat coming in the playoffs. Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I mean, I guess I'll just pull up what
the standings.
What I know for a
Playoff.
while they were with the Chargers, but I think that has changed. I don't know if they would actually have a rematch
They're
with
fourth,
Baltimore.
right?
So they play the 5. Who's
They
the 5?
play Baltimore.
Yeah. So, but that would be in Houston. But still, I mean, give me the Ravens all day. And honestly, I haven't just because of their defense, Lamar in the playoffs, but they're not going to beat. They're not going to beat the Ravens.
I don't know. I mean, we're talking about turnovers. Tua just had 3 picks against them.
Yeah, but they're not going to be able to score with the Ravens. The Ravens will be able to run with Henry. Nobody stopped Henry.
That's right.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, I guess. We'll see,
And it's a shame though
it's-
because they have a lot to build with.
they do have a lot to build with.
Yeah.
But I still wouldn't be absolutely surprised if Texans up beating the Ravens. Who knows? Maybe the Ravens all
have
of a sudden.
the Ravens type of playoffs is basically.
And it's like, Derrick Henry 25 carries. Well, let's give him like 8 carries this game. Like something again stupid like they did last season in the postseason too. Like
Woody Johnson
decide not to
calls it
run. Yeah, exactly, dude. And then again, who knows? Lamar has that bad game. Texans take advantage. All of a sudden, they win 27-24.
Yeah. No, and like I said, I like to see it. I guess it's just for me, it's been odd. I mean, I know they had the Diggs injury, and I think Nico Collins was out for a little bit, and it seems like I don't know. Dalton
Tucker.
Schultz hasn't had this season, but like, no, I was talking about the Texans, but it's like it still is odd to me, like and I guess I'm not studying it closely, but like why they're struggling to score so much. I don't know if it's just like a year of tape that the teams didn't have last year.
Maybe just inability to work well in the red zone.
Mixon's had a good season. I don't think he did much yesterday, but overall he's ran the ball effectively.
I mean, again, Stroud's production, you would think that
It's okay. It was just better last year. So it just, when you see a regression, you always think about it. But again, we do see the sophomore slump all the time with the quarterbacks.
yeah, and again, he has the yardage. I guess 3,200 yards, almost 3,300 yards, just only 17 touchdowns.
Yeah.
The 9 picks.
But yeah, finishing drive. So I'm sure they'll reconfigure this, in the offseason and really, put them in to really be a serious contender next year. Maybe 2, their offensive. What were you going to say?
I was gonna say too. I mean, Stephon Diggs being out too definitely hurt them.
Yeah.
a ton.
But Collins and Dell
are
but
good,
they've
yeah.
missed time as
Yeah.
well.
Uh-huh.
So maybe it's that. Maybe it's the shuffling in and out of the lineup. But,
Yeah.
It's just kind of interesting. So be interesting to see how they finish the year and what they do to retool this team. A couple other comments here. Michael Bucket says it's a shame the Bengals are only 6-8 and don't have all that talent. Dak should be nowhere near the highest paid quarterback.
What do you think about that?
I don't think he should be the highest paid quarterback.
Yeah, but like nowhere near. I mean, like nowhere near
Dak
is
is-
outside the top 6.
I think Dak is closer to the top 10 than the top 5, but he's in the top 10. So he's probably like 7 in terms of like just best quarterbacks in the league. Why? I mean, what do you think?
Well, if he was 7, he'd be like kind of in the middle.
Right. That's what I'm. No, I'm
Yeah,
just
yeah.
saying he's not. But
He's not,
1.
yeah,
so I'm
he's
telling
1.
you, he's not top 5. Is what I'm saying.
No, yeah, I guess you could agree with that, dude.
Yeah.
You could definitely agree with that. Ian and Becca Comics says, "How's it going?"
Welcome aboard.
Ian, Becca, thanks for tuning in. It's going very well.
Yeah.
Obviously great NFL weekend to recap. My mother wants to know how long did it take you to get back. Like 3 hours. Let's say 240. Let's say that, dude. So
yeah, a
you
little
know.
chaotic, but he's here. He's raring to go, and just needs a great night's sleep tonight.
That's right, dude. Which we'll get tonight, dude. You know, we'll buckle down, we'll meal prep, and we'll get to bed early. Michael Buchter reiterating, Dak Prescott is overrated. He says also Barnes. Thoughts on McNeely, dude?
Yeah, McNeely. He's
Big
on
fan,
UConn.
right? Yeah,
great player.
Big
Honestly,
man,
the
kind
star
of.
of the show. He got like
Can hit a 3-ball.
he got like the the most outstanding player of the game. He really started for them. I think what I noticed by watching Michael is their interior defense is going to need to get better. That's what they're missing. They're missing Klingon down low. Stewart looks like he could be that guy. He played well on Saturday. So it'll be interesting to see. But like I said, Michael, you were right the entire time. Don't forget it. And he said he had a real shot late in the second half. He did. That was very exciting. But back to the football here. The Broncos trailed at the half 13-7, but ultimately end up blowing out the Colts 31-13, really solidifying their playoff positioning here in the AFC wild card. Bo Nix struggled in this one, ended up turning it around late, but 3 interceptions, 3 touchdowns, only threw for 130 yards, so a lot of dink and dunk. But they took advantage also of Anthony Richardson turning it over 2 picks and also was sacked twice. Jonathan Taylor, also a couple interesting things happened in this game, and I don't know if you saw it, but not a fumble, but a careless throwaway in the end zone. We saw it with the Jets earlier this year. So that killed them. And then I've never seen this in my life. Double pass, the receiver throwing it back, and then the Broncos taking it for a pick 6. Have you ever seen that?
No.
That was like the coolest play I've ever seen.
Kind of unreal, dude.
Yeah. So it's tough though. You don't know what to make of this, and it was surprising that Nick struggled the way he did in the first half here. Obviously getting the win is important, and we know their defense is good. But when I look at this Broncos team, I just think it's come playoff time, they're going to be on the road. Rookie quarterback. I know you have Peyton, a head coach. It's going to be tough to win a game in the playoffs. But nevertheless, we have to laud them for their improvement this year, with Peyton and Nix.
Yes, I feel like specifically Peyton.
Yeah, because it seemed like it should even be coaching.
That's what we said last year.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
Oh my God, so funny. At 9-5 now. I mean, they're getting the wild card.
I mean,
they're in.
I know it's not official, but
Right.
they're going to be in. And right now, season today, it would be a rematch of the Tim Tebow game. This time in Pittsburgh, as the Steelers right now would be the 3 seed hosting the Broncos. So that'll be interesting,
dude. So it would be Ravens, Broncos.
Ravens would play the Texans.
No, just for the wild card. I'm saying.
Oh,
just
yeah,
in terms
it would be Ravens, Broncos, Chargers. And that's what it's going to be because the other teams are all 6-8 and they're kind of DOA, no?
Yeah, very true. Very true. Dolphins blew it. Colts, obviously.
Yeah. So that's going to be interesting. But again, and they've been suffering for a while. Bengals. I think their last winning season was 2016 when Peyton Manning had his swan song there. So that'll be interesting. But like I said, we'll see them in the playoffs. The Colts, like I said, most likely not. And it's just going to be interesting, too, the future of that organization. And we talk about wacky owners, Irsay, you never know what he's going to do. Anthony Richardson has looked terrible this year for the most part, especially with the throwing, the running, he's pretty good. You have a back in Taylor. Pittman's pretty good. But it's like, they stick with Steichen. I would think, though, the way that Anthony Richardson has played this year, I mean, they're going to go with a different quarterback. Wow. I know it's only his second year, but, I mean, he's just looked horrible.
Yeah, I know. It's oh, man, that's tough, dude. Yeah, I guess. I mean, we spoke about it even last year, I suppose. But I don't know, the injury, maybe the trying to battle back, struggling team. You think they give him any benefit of the doubt?
Maybe, but I think also if he has more games
what's his contract? Is he even?
Well, I mean, it's you have a 4-year deal, the 5th-year option. But all I'm saying is, if he plays like this, like he did yesterday, the next 3 games of the season, I have a tough time thinking they're going to stick with him as a starter next year. So. Yeah,
no, you're probably not wrong, I guess. But I mean, not for nothing. I mean, what are they going to do? Are they going to draft somebody new? Probably they're not going to have a great draft pick, right?
Well, it's going to be drafting, and sometimes you can find guys in the middle rounds. But also, they're another team that, let's say they do that and they want to give the middle round draft pick some time to learn. They could try to get a quarterback, like Kirk Cousins or something,
True, very true. Kirk Cousins, Jesus. But I mean, not for nothing, the next 3 games, Titans, Giants, Jags, just the Giants games on the road, and that's kind of irrelevant.
I mean,
would you not think they go at the very least 2-3?
You mean
2-1?
No,
2 out of 3 they
no,
win.
I think they just beat the Giants. I think the Titans will just run with Pollard. And then the Jags, I think, are better. Even though they don't have as many wins, I think they will beat them for some reason. Just a hunch. Just a hunch. So we'll have to see.
For the demise.
We both, expected this. I called it about being due for lose. The Bills lose 48, or not the Bills. The Lions lose 48-42 to the Bills. So the Bills now 11-3. The Lions 12-2. First loss since opening night against Baker and the boys. But this was just a crazy game back and forth. The 4th downs, the missed field goals. Bass missed a 24-yarder. I don't know if you saw that one.
Tough.
And then Jake Bates, who's been one of the best kickers in the league, was about 3 field goal posts over on his 50-yard attempt at the end of the first half. That was nuts. Jared Goff, 5 touchdowns, 38-59. And the Lions went away from the team that they've been, probably because the defense left so many points. They're chasing, couldn't establish the run, and I think ultimately that's why they lost. St. Brown in a great game, 14 for 193 and a score. Also, Laporta was over 100 yards, 7 for 111. And then Josh Allen continued to have a great, continuing his great season here. 23-34, 362, 2 touchdowns, no picks, no sacks. Ran for 68 yards and 2 scores. So if you think about the last 2 weeks for Allen, 10 total touchdowns. Kind of nuts. James Cook, I think, always been one of the more underrated running backs in the league. 14 for 105 and 2 scores. And Ty Johnson, the former New York Jet, 5 receptions out of the backfield for 114 yards. So strong game from him. Allen spreading the ball out. Both of these teams are fun to watch. But I was saying this yesterday. I think, though, this game kind of gives me trepidation that the Lions are going to end up getting to the Super Bowl or winning the Super Bowl just because of their defense and the fact that you get in a game like this, even though Goff is good, I think it just throws them off because their whole identity is establishing the run.
Yeah, obviously Bills are a complete team here. Josh Allen talking about, having an MVP year. It's definitely him right now looking honestly, looking like the best quarterback in the league. And like you said, they're a complete tool team. The run game is there. The defense is there. The receiving core, I suppose, is there as well. But it's just like, if the Lions really, if they want to win against a team like the Bills, which is a team you would obviously have to get through to win your Super Bowl here, you got to have a defense that shows up. And, that's the narrative. Everyone's really talking about it. They have like a dozen injuries on defense this year.
Had 2 more injuries yesterday.
Exactly, dude. So it's like, you can survive through games against the Bears or maybe even against the Packers, when your team is as good as the Lions and you're struggling with injuries. But it's going to be that game against the Bills where just, they're never, that team is never going to put their foot off the pedal. It's going to be rare they make a mistake. And with your personnel, is it easy for you to capitalize on that mistake? No, it's not, dude. So, here you have it. Allen, going through as good of a game as he could have. And they put 48 points on it. And you have the Detroit Lions who maybe, like you said, all this stuff in Goff, Dan Campbell are in a position where they feel pressure to score. Campbell's making hasty decisions on the sideline, putting the Lions in a tough spot, not trusting your defense, forcing special teams to make unnecessarily crazy plays here. That's the Lions team we saw last year in the postseason that was under pressure, making a bad decision. Dan Campbell ends up losing you the game. Not to say that on its own is losing the game. Like I said, you got to give him some benefit of the doubt with those injuries. It's tough. They're struggling with that. Like, what the hell, man? What other team has that many injuries, especially on defense? So you have to figure out a way. This is where Dan Campbell, I think, lack of experience shows a little bit. He's going to have to, if he sees the Bills again, he's going to have to come up with something kind of crazy to win, you know? And it can't be like some stupid 4th and 12, let's go for it. You know, it's got to be something within reason.
What was it?
Or the
Onside kick with 7 minutes left?
Yeah. Especially with the onside kick rules this year, it's like
you're not going to recover it.
It's like, I forget what percentage it was. It's like 3%, you know?
Yeah.
And you want to try, you know, like that's a really tough thing to try and rely on. So you're going to have to shake things up on defense, dude.
So it'll be interesting to see, you know, how this all plays out. How likely is it in your mind, though, that we see this matchup come second week of February in Nolans?
I don't know, man. It's tough, dude. Obviously, you look at this game, and it's an outlier. You're playing the Bills, but it's like, I don't know, with the way the Eagles have been playing, how do you not think that they're going to be coming out of the NFC here? You know? Winners of 10 in a row, you know, you're seeing it right there. And for a team that seemingly has squashed, you know, some whatever locker room woe they had with Sirianni, I mean, like, you know, a team we thought that was going to break up because of that nonsense.
Right, it's brought them together.
Brought them together.
Yeah.
But then again, I mean, everyone says that they're a Barkley injury away from just crumbling to the ground.
True.
Which could, you know, again, ticking time bomb. You can say what you will,
You can't
but
predict
I think
injury.
you can't predict injury. And I think with Barkley on that team, they match up very well against Detroit. And I would even lean as so far to say that they would beat Detroit.
So you're basically saying, and again, like so much is going to happen between now and then,
Yeah.
but your prediction at this moment would be Bills-Eagles Super Bowl.
I would think so.
And then
Bills
Bills.
at that point.
Finally, and then Allen on the podium, Super Bowl MVP. We did it for you, Jim. Right or no?
Yeah, no, absolutely, dude.
Yeah. Finishing
Absolutely,
the deal.
finishing the deal,
What
dude.
was the Four Falls of Buffalo or something? It's the
That's what they called it?
No, like the ESPN 30 for 30 on the whole thing.
See.
I did watch that whole thing.
Four Falls of Buffalo.
What do you know, Tony? Hitting it right on the head, right?
Four Falls, dude.
Would be a good story all these years later. I can't imagine being a fan of a team or being on a team that goes to the Super Bowl 4 straight years and loses 4. I mean, that's kind of nuts, no?
Yeah, dude, that's fucking outrageous. Could you
Yeah.
imagine, dude? Like for the next 3 World Series, Brian.
Oh my, yeah, no, it's just essentially it's like, okay, the first one you're like, all right, we'll be back this year. You get there, all right. Oh,
Yeah.
well, I mean, no, we're just gonna do it next year. And the third time, the same thing. And then the fourth time, you're like, oh, well, I mean, there's no what, like that's kind of nuts,
And then,
especially because it started with wide right
Afterwards.
against the Giants.
oh my God.
Scott
that's so
Norwood,
wild.
I think it was only like 36 yards out. That's tough, but we will see. It's exciting stuff.
36 yards out.
And you mentioned the Eagles. They continue their dominance over the Steelers in
Ridiculous.
Philadelphia. Did you know, Tony, that the Steelers have not won in Philadelphia in 45 years?
I did hear that stat. They were saying that. Yep.
Unbelievable. And this was really pure domination. Seemed like the Steelers were hanging in there. You know, the halftime score was 17-10, but they get shot out in the second half, losing 27-13 here. You know, offensively, they just couldn't get anything going, only running for 56 yards. Wilson only throwing for 128 and a score. Defense seemed to be, you know, right in their face. And Jalen Hurts, this was interesting because there's all this talk about Saquon, but Jalen Hurts really won the Eagles this game, finding Brown and Smith downfield. They both had over 100 yards and a touchdown. And Saquon was bottled up, you know, 19-65. Hurts had a rushing touchdown. But, you know, they got tough yards against a tough defense. TJ Watt banged up. I think it's some type of foot injury. And I think the Steelers in his career without him are like 1-8. So they're hoping he will get back soon. They've already clinched a playoff spot. But this was a tough game. And I'm sure, you know, it gives everybody that thought, you know, how do you not watching this game? That's like, well, the Steelers are good. They can win a wild card game. But when it gets to the nitty gritty, playing the Kansas Cities or the Buffalo, I think a game like this will make everyone question their ability to beat those teams.
Yeah, I mean, how could it not? You know,
Yeah.
especially, you know, it's not like they are using Justin Fields too. They have Russell Wilson. They have the veteran quarterback. it's like those are situations where you would think his experience, I should say, kind of propels him up to to victory. Really, it's tough, dude. I mean, the Eagles did play a really good game. They're a hard team to stop. We were talking about the momentum. Saquon Barkley, I mean, 19 carries, 65 yards on the ground. That's going to do a lot of damage, and it's their 1-2 punch in their receiving core. I mean, that's I think goes to show how heavy those big names on the Eagles are. I mean, it's just you can't really figure out a way to stop them. And I mean, I don't know. Maybe Russell Wilson, who's had such high production the past couple of weeks,
Yeah, I mean, tough road game.
Yeah.
Philly's always a tough place to
Very
play.
physical, dude. A lot of pushing and shoving, extracurriculars, some fighting. Tough, dude. It really is.
And then, speaking of tough, the 5-day turnaround in Baltimore. So that will be a tough one this Saturday. And then the Chiefs and then Bengals, which, I mean, that game, who knows what will happen. I mean, the Bengals will be out of it probably by then. And also the Chiefs may not have Mahomes, depending on what the injury, I guess, tests show. But, they're already in the playoffs. But it's interesting, though, because if they lose to Baltimore, then they would be tied, and I think it's conference record because they would have split the matchup. So this division is not wrapped up, and I'm sure Pittsburgh is earning Tony to have a home playoff game here. So this is an important stretch for them, and just like with the Chiefs with Mahomes, I mean, I think everything right now is the health of T.J. Watt.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yes. Right, dude. I mean, the health of T.J. Watt's gonna be huge.
I mean, I think it speaks volumes that they're 1-8 in their career without. I mean, that's like
not good.
He's the heart and soul of that defense.
Yeah.
And we saw the Cards snap. I think it was a 3-game losing streak at home against New England, who came back late to make the score look closer than it actually was. 30-17. James Conner, 110 yards, 2 touchdowns. Murray was 23 of 30 through the air. Trey McBride, the leading receiver, 9 for 87. So the Cards hang in there in terms of the playoffs. And I think Kyler Murray was banged up as well in this, so hopefully he's okay. But I don't take too much stock into this game. I mean, I think it's like we've talked about all year with the Cards, and just history has shown you rely on the Cards, you're gonna get burned, especially late in the season. Their record is so bad the last couple months of the year. For whatever reason, I think this was just an anomaly because the Patriots are a mess. You saw Kraft kind of looking in dismay with his son in the booth in Arizona. I think since he bought the team, they'd only lost to Arizona once, like something ridiculous like that. And he was saying something about its play calling. He was mouthing that supposedly. And there's talks about Mayo coaching for his job. I think it's pretty much a lock that there's going to be a new head coach in New England next year.
I mean, rightfully so, dude. I feel like, not for nothing, that hire was a little questionable.
Didn't seem like he was ready. Wasn't even a defensive coordinator.
Kind of crazy, dude. And I just think maybe Kraft is seemingly desperate. And then obviously after this year, even more desperate, make a more hasty decision. I don't know, man. Who knows? Maybe taking a trip down to Carolina soon.
Yeah. Yeah. You never know. I think Drake May does seem like he's pretty good. That's the one thing I guess they can, hang their hat on, and former first-round pick Christian Gonzalez. But other than that, especially offensively, I mean, I guess Stevenson's okay. But it just a lot needs to be rebuilt there, and I think you just need a stronger coaching staff. But it's also interesting for Arizona because it seems like recently it's kind of the same story for them every year. They find themselves here 7-7. And it's just like you don't have confidence in them to win these big games. And right now they're 2 games out of a playoff spot. I guess technically only 1 game back of the division, but the tiebreaker, so they're behind Seattle right now. So they basically need to win out and then hope that the Rams and the Seahawks go 1-2, which is not likely. But I don't know. It's an interesting scenario, right? It's like, how do you take them to the next level, and does it fall on the shoulders of Kyler Murray?
I don't know. I mean, again, I mean, it's tough to speak to how mature Kyler Murray has gotten and since he's been in the league. But I mean, not for nothing, he seemed like that quarterback that gives his minimum, you know?
Wow.
And
Breaking news.
breaking news.
Yeah. Lions running back David Montgomery suffered a torn MCL in the game against the Bills yesterday and will be out for the remainder of the 2024 season. A huge blow for the Lions, for Dan Campbell, who now are going to have to solely rely on Jahmyr Gibbs. I mean, I know obviously they can bring in, some other running backs here, but Montgomery, such a big part of what this Detroit Lions team has done all this season. And I have to say, Tony, that's one I missed. I didn't even realize he was injured. I don't know if this was like a surprise, like a check, whatever it is, but huge blow for Detroit, no?
At this point, percentage Super Bowl victory for the Detroit Lions.
I mean, I wasn't expecting them to win anyway, so I'm going to say 25%. Like it's
Dropping from where? 50?
35%.
Wow.
Because they still have Gibbs and stuff, but it's a blow. It's a blow.
I mean, again, it's like 1A, 1B with those two running backs.
Thunder and
that
lightning.
was a huge part of their offense, was establishing that running game with those two running backs. Kind of tough, dude. Again, Montgomery is someone who I've been watching closely. He's my fantasy running back. And yeah, dude, that seems really tough. It seemed like that was reported about 20 minutes ago. So
yeah.
That's really tough.
So, I guess he's getting a second opinion.
Yeah.
But I mean, it just seems like where there's smoke, there's fire.
Yeah, it's tough, dude. And especially for something like MCL, you may not know right away, too. These running backs obviously have tremendous muscles around their legs, so it's like you can probably play the rest of the game with a torn MCL and not really necessarily know it. So who knows, dude? Who knows what's going to happen? But obviously, you wish him healthy recovery, and hopefully, I mean, you got to be happy. Lions, Gibbs, that's your other guy. Like, that's great.
Right.
But definitely tough, dude.
And I know you've been waiting for this all show. The Baker run continues.
Let's
a 40
go, dude.
burger.
That is dope.
In LA against the Chargers.
Wow.
A game that they actually trailed 17-13 at half.
The
but
run.
shutting out the Chargers.
Unbelievable.
27-0 in the
run.
second half. The run, the Baker run.
I'm rooting for the run.
22 of 27, 288, 4 touchdowns, only 1 interception. They ran, I think, which is the difference in this one, for 223 yards. Bucky Irving, 117 yards
dude.
on the ground. And then also Mike Evans, 9 receptions, 159 yards, 2 scores. This is their 4th straight win. They were talking about it on the, I think, the Red Zone and maybe Football Night in America last night. But this is a team that come to playoff time. You don't want to face them,
Right.
And it just seems like the Bucs are playing inspired football right now.
Yeah, dude. You want to see one of the sickest throws I've seen all year long, dude? I've been literally waiting all morning to honestly watch this with you because it really is pretty impressive here. Obviously, touchdown throw from Baker here. Mike Evans, top of your screen, does a great job in getting some inside leverage.
Tough angle over here.
Oh, sorry, dude.
No, it's good.
But yeah, great job getting the inside leverage on the secondary of the Chargers. But I mean, it is Baker's throw that is just absolute poetry, dude. It really is. You can see, and he's looking at Evans the whole time, just absolute fucking dime, dude. God. You really can't. And Evans knows he's that was just you can't make it any easier for Mike Evans right there. You're putting it right in the basket. And look, the vision's there the whole time. Little inside move, and he knows exactly where he's gonna be.
Yeah.
And it's just fucking unbelievable, dude. I mean, you watch that as a fan of whoever you are, dude, of any team, and you want your quarterback to be doing like anything like that. You mentioned some of his stats throughout the game. I mean, he was just dominant, dude. In any big moment, I think he was in that first half. I think he was 4 for 5 on third downs. Ended that first half with a field goal to make it 17-13, right?
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah, 17-13. And then, I mean, he just willed the Bucs and himself to victory. I mean, obviously, yes, tremendous efforts. Evans, Bucky Irving, Rashad White, even though he had that fumble, bounced back quite well. but it's it's Baker who's like finding ways to keep plays alive, throwing the ball away at times when he thought that was necessary, which is something we talked about him needing to work on. Picking up third, and it's like again, like you're the Chargers, renowned defense. Harbaugh, yes, dude, you're trying to cover Mike Evans. You figure that out. Maybe you stop Irvin for a few times. All of a sudden, it's Baker picking up first downs with his legs, dude. Like it's obviously the team looks really freaking good, dude. And then because of that, it's just like their defense was doing well, and it's like Justin Herbert's forcing some throws. He throws a pick. All of a sudden, they're back on their heels after leading after the first half. And I mean, not for nothing, I was watching this game, checking the scores, and I'm thinking like, oh man, like this could be that game where, Baker just kind of loses it a little bit, or the Bucs just lose it in a tight one. It's Herbert, it's the Chargers are going to be good. But I mean, that second half was just absolutely electric, dude. It was all Bucs.
Yeah.
It was great.
And it almost seems like with Baker, because, I saw a lot of him at Oklahoma. He was a star after being the walk-on at Texas Tech, transferring all of that. But it seems like he just needed to be in the right spot. Cleveland obviously has been, a dormant for quarterbacks. And I think what started this Baker run in terms of just playing, like the number one overall pick that he was, a couple of years ago, he's in Carolina after the Browns. He gets released. Sean McVay picks him up. He starts a Monday Night Football game. I think it was against the Raiders on like a couple days' notice, barely knowing the offense. Wins the game. And I think that's what started Baker kind of regaining his confidence. Then he goes to Tampa. Dave Canales, who's the Panthers head coach now, is the offensive coordinator. And he's just taken off from there. And it's truly remarkable. And I think that's why, too. And, of course, he's still not playing great, but that's why, you've seen in Carolina Bryce Young kind of play some better football. I don't know if it was necessarily yesterday, but just that it's actually like a conversation like, oh, well, maybe we can work with this guy. So I think that speaks to the value of good coaching. And when it comes together with determination, I think that defines what Baker Mayfield is.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. And again, with all those different assets to his game, I mean, he definitely pulls the team together. It seems like they talk about it a lot, especially during this game, because the offensive line was throwing some tremendous blocks his way, giving him lots of time to in the pocket, and obviously blocking well downfield for Irving or whoever or White. But it seems like he has a great rapport with his offensive line, dude.
Yeah.
And they love protecting him. And they love playing for him. And, I mean, that's exactly what you want. And, again, I mean, it's you watch the game, you see the time he has. I mean, when you're blocking for someone you care about or you enjoy blocking for, it makes it even better, So let's fucking go, dude. It's so sick.
It is exciting. They're in Dallas this week, Sunday Night Football.
Let's go, dude.
Obviously, coming to that matchup,
huge game.
The better team, but I think it's just one of those things. The Cowboys are going to be riled up, trying to save their season. Of course,
they're not gonna.
So no, all I'm saying is like, of course, just like they have been. You got to have your best foot forward. And I think if they do that, they'll win the game. But I think it won't be like this blowout, maybe that you would think just based on how the two teams have played this year. I think they're gonna have to grind it out a little bit.
I think so. Daddle, we know, but it's TCB regardless for the Bucs, dude.
What's that?
Oh, like taking care of business.
Oh, okay. I haven't heard that one before.
Oh yeah,
that's
dude.
a good one.
Little TCB, dude.
That'll be brought up now.
Yeah.
And it would be an interesting playoff matchup right now for the Bucs on this run. They would actually host Green Bay. So that becomes a very interesting game. And obviously things can change. But speaking of Green Bay, they lay it on the Seahawks on the road. The first time in 11 matchups that between the Seahawks and the Packers that the road team wins here. And from the start, the Packers just jump right down their throat, scoring on all 4 possessions in the first half, holding Seattle to 3. And Josh Jacobs on the ground, in the air, just had an outstanding game. And after really looking like just a broken running back last year in Vegas, but obviously the offensive line there was an issue. But 94 yards on the ground in a score, also caught 4 passes for 42 yards. So he was definitely featured yesterday. But again, I think what makes the Packers so hard is to defend is Jordan Love, who was 20 of 27, 229, 2 touchdowns, no picks, no sacks. Really spreads the ball out to his receivers. And you look at a game like yesterday, he throws to 7 different receivers. Watson led the way, 3 for 56. Romeo Doubs had 3 catches, 40 yards, but had those 2 touchdowns. So he just has such good rapport with so many different receivers, and I've brought this up before, but it's not like the old days with Jordy Nelson and Devontae Adams, where you're locking in on one person and then you throw a running game with a good defense, Tony. Green Bay is a dangerous team in the NFC.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. And you talk about not even having multiple targets too, but like you said, the running game. I mean, you're throwing Jaden Reed, a receiver who gets 3 carries for 27 yards. It's like the I guess the intuitiveness and the creativity with the offensive plays that they're able to kind of I would imagine practice day in and day out during the week to execute at a high level here. I mean, to have that in your back pocket for big plays, let's say against, the Bucs in a playoff position, like that's what makes the Packers like that much more threatening too, is that their ability to score from different ways in the field. And obviously the Seahawks here getting the brunt of that last night, dude.
Yeah, absolutely. And I really feel for Ernie and the fellow Packers fans because of the Lions play this year. Green Bay more or less here is not going to be hosting a playoff game at Lambeau Field, but they deserve to.
They do deserve to.
Just unfortunate circumstances, a tough division. And speaking of divisions, Seattle losing this game, so the Rams now in first place, also losing Geno Smith.
Kind of crazy.
I don't know
Injured?
if the extent of the injury was revealed just yet, but also, not that he had been playing great, 14 touchdowns, 13 picks 13 hours ago. McDonald saying that he will undergo additional testing on the right knee. So that's it, but knee injuries are tough, and obviously he would have wanted to play in that game if he could get back in there. You saw him visibly frustrated on the sidelines. But we were talking about runs, and obviously they had their game on Thursday. I know it wasn't great, the weather, the road, but the Rams being in first place, I think everything is setting up, Tony, for that run, and they have a game against the Jets this week. So I wholeheartedly expect them to win the division, and they're a tough team come playoff time too. So this NFC playoff picture, it's crazy.
Yeah, it really is, dude, especially when you think about the AFC being basically in terms of teams is locked up,
Right.
Seeding is really what you're really worried about, but yeah, the NFC is quite wild, dude. To like we said, to the Packers not having a home playoff game at 10-4, to the Rams seemingly maybe taking the NFC West here, but you never know, I guess, too. I guess the Cards, you're talking about maybe the Jets could win against the Rams.
But probably not. I'm just saying, it's just that's the history of the Jets. And
like
then maybe I'm getting too historical on it.
Maybe you're thinking with your heart, dude.
Not really, because I don't want that to happen. But the Seahawks, and if Geno Smith's out, like I said, not that he's been playing great, but he's your starting quarterback. To go with Sam Howell, who was a turnover machine last year in Washington, who didn't look great when he came into the game. To have to play the Vikings, sure, maybe you beat the Bears, but then if it's for the division last night of the season against the Rams on the road, you're not winning. So that's why I just think it's a clear path for the Rams to win this division.
I think so. I think it does. It's kind of funny. I feel like it does start with the Jets here.
Yeah.
Because in order to control your own destiny, I feel like you have to beat the Jets this weekend. And then it's like, okay, you can probably beat
the Cards
or the Seahawks, one of those 2 games, and you'll probably win win the division.
Yeah, I think they're winning out, honestly, and that would be ending the season on a 6-game winning streak.
Yeah, that would be it, dude. And then losing in the first round of the playoffs.
No, because right now,
who would they play if they won the division?
Oh, they would play the Vikings. They'll beat the Vikings, I think. Right? No, you wouldn't take the Rams over the Vikings.
I would give me Vikings all day.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Book it right now. Don't even ask me again.
We'll talk about.
No, don't ask me again.
All right, dude. Needless to say, though, just exciting time down the stretch here.
Yeah, dude.
And as far as the games tonight, I don't know how exciting. Just because, the Vikings, that's your first game at 8.
8 p.m.
Doubleheader, but hosting the Bears, you would expect them to struggle. The interim coach, obviously, rookie quarterback on the road. And I know Caleb's played better, but the Vikings are humming right now. All that firepower and offense, not to mention a great defense, Tony. So to me, Vikings covering this game, seems like the lock of all locks. And I know the Bears are on a 7-game losing streak. I don't care. I don't think they're winning in Minnesota. We'll talk about that in a second in terms of our exact predictions. But then the Raiders hosting the Falcons, it's interesting just because the Falcons have looked horrible, going from really a stranglehold on their division to losing, 4 games in a row?
5.
5 games in a row.
4, you're right.
In Cousins with the interceptions. So it's like I'm expecting the Falcons to win, but would I really be surprised if somehow the Raiders get the ball to Bowers and the Falcons have some stupid interceptions and if they lose? But I'm still expecting Atlanta to win, but I just would not be like completely surprised if that happens.
You're expecting Atlanta to win.
But it's like I think they're gonna have to grind it out. Like it might be
think so
Koo
too,
from
dude.
45, honestly.
I fucking hope not, dude, because Josh B has Koo on his fantasy team, dude. Fuck Koo. Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's just like gonna be Cousins. Like, hey man, have 15 picks in the year. What are you doing?
But maybe it's the Raiders. Like he finally has a good game, or no?
No, I really don't think so, dude.
Really?
Yeah, I think I'm giving this one to the Raiders.
Wow. And
Yeah,
Brock
really do.
Bowers.
Bowers.
Imagine if we had him on the Jets, though.
Should have, dude.
Such a
Should have.
mistake.
I remember Jay talking about it. Get the tight end. They never do it.
Didn't I talk about it?
Yeah, I think everyone was talking.
Okay. Well, you just go with Josh there. I had to think about it for a second.
Oh my gosh, dude! Fuck Josh, honestly, dude. He's beating me. He's gonna beat me in fantasy, dude.
I'm gonna win mine, I think, against Bernie, which
Yeah, I
would be a
think
big
yours,
upset.
yeah.
I'm the 7. He's the 2. He has a couple guys on the Raiders going.
Fucking dude, I sat Kansas City defense. And it's like I had Philly's defense did well, like 17 points, I think, but obviously it's like Kansas City had like 5 picks. Like,
yeah. Oh man, that's
so I'm so tight, dude. Even Devontae Adams had like a career fucking game, 40 points, dude. But Josh B I think he had Josh Jacobs. I'm on Ross St. Brown.
Yeah, just
And he literally, I think I need his tight end and Koo to fucking shit the bed and then I'll win.
But
It's tough, dude. It's
Yeah.
tough, dude. Because especially if you look at the matchups too, like if I had played anyone else, I'd win
right.
with my points. But you don't care, dude.
No, I do. I do. Let's actually do the comments before we do the doubleheader frenzy here. Go ahead.
Oh,
Go ahead.
yeah, sure, dude. I think it goes back to Buckta here.
Since
Steelers, 1965. He's absolutely embarrassing. Yes, Michael Theophil loves TCB, LOL. DTV.
What
is
does it
all
mean
about
again?
TCB, taking care of business.
Okay, taking care of business. Michael's right about that.
Yep, and then Josh B says, ha ha ha, I came at the perfect time for a second. Fuck me, fuck you. And then Michael says, never want to give Barnes credit. That's not true, dude. Michael Theophil fabricating drama. It's ridiculous, dude.
It's always good to have a good laugh, Tony.
Yeah, it always is, dude.
You know what else is good, though? A Monday night doubleheader frenzy.
Let's go, baby. Another doubleheader on Monday night, so... I mean, I don't know. Tell me how you feel in the comments about it. Doesn't really matter. We're starting the first one, 8 p.m. Let's go. Bears versus Vikings, Brian. In Minnesota, they're -7, over under 43.5. We went through it. Vikings, the win streak. Bears, the losing streak. Finding ways to lose games they should be winning as well. Are they doing again tonight in Minnesota?
Yeah, no way. They're 0-6 on the road this year. The Vikings are 6-1 at home. 11-2 overall. Sam Darnold, best season of his career, just under 3,300 yards passing, 28 touchdowns, 10 picks. Aaron Jones closing in on yet another 1,000-yard season, his first with the Purple People Eaters, Tony.
Wow.
Justin Jefferson, 75, 11, 77 touchdowns. The theme here, and we know about the guys on defense, how strong that defense plays. The Vikings, I think, blow the doors down here. I think they get in Caleb Williams' face early. And I think offensively, whether it's the run, the pass, and Jefferson streaking down the field, the screens to Aaron Jones.
Streaking.
Jordan Addison, Tony, maybe has a touchdown in this one, but I think Darnold, a 350, 4 touchdowns. Maybe Caleb Williams has 2 picks. I think this gets ugly. Vikings, 42-13. Vikings and the over.
Love that call there. Vikings in the over. Next game, dude. We're going to Las Vegas, dude. The Raiders are taking on your Atlanta Falcons. Watch out, just 30 minutes off of the Vikings kickoff, there will be this kickoff, dude. Las Vegas +6, over-under is 44.5. The Raiders are on a losing streak that surpasses, are they on like a 7-game losing streak, I think? Regardless, we know 8 even.
Yeah.
Let's confirm here. Raiders are on a 9 games in a row they have lost. The Falcons loses a 4 in a row. Their last win, November 3rd against Dallas on the road there. Actually, no, they're at home in Atlanta. The Falcons, Cousins, obviously big storyline here. 17 touchdown passes. That's okay, dude. 15 interceptions. Raiders, a tight end, yes. Quarterback situation, tough. What do you see the outcome for this one?
I think this is going to be one of those games where you're like, I don't know if I have it in me to watch it. Just because I think Falcons win, Raiders can't move the football. And I think the Falcons, what they should do, because obviously Cousins has been struggling through the air, is to rely on Bijan Robinson as he closes in on his first 1,000-yard rushing season of his career here. I think they'll focus on getting him the ball early and often. This Raiders team is cooked. I think Pierce is a dead man walking in terms of his job security. So I think Bijan has 150, 2 scores. Cousins, they probably only let him throw 15 times. Doesn't matter, doesn't turn it over. And I think they ultimately end up winning this game. I'm going to say 20-6. So I'm going to go the Falcons and the under. And just like that, that is your Monday Night Football doubleheader frenzy.
Wow, dude. Just like that.
Just like that, a couple more comments, too.
Yes, of course, dude. We have Matthew Gabriel coming in here with the White 80. Michael Theofil, a good laugh is seeing Barnes and Buckta at the movie theater watching Mufasa.
He had to go there.
OL, dude.
He had to
Saul,
go there.
good. First time, long time, dude.
Good to hear from Saul.
Jets 85, Bears D. Fucking joke, dude.
Yes.
And then he says, Saul here says Ferris 9 times. Ferris Bueller's Day Off, Edward Rooney.
I don't get
principal. It's a quote.
It's a quote from the movie.
Because Ferris Bueller was absent 9 times, just like the Raiders had 9 losses. 9 times.
Okay. Gotcha.
Saul,
understood.
Movie guy.
Yes.
Big binge buddy caller as well.
Big binge buddy caller as well. And then I just wanted to see here. So, so TCA went. They went 2-1 because they hit the Bengals, hit the Broncos, we lost to the Steelers. We hit with the Pack.
Yes.
But we need the Vikings and the Falcons to cover their respective numbers to actually pick up a game on them. But I don't know, Tony. Now I'm feeling bad about the juju after you're telling me that the Raiders are going to beat the Falcons. Now you're reconsidering.
I mean, I don't know. Fuck the Falcons. I can't believe you had me pick the Falcons, dude.
Well, you remember going through the games?
I know, it's a tough list.
I'm trying to think of what it wasn't. Kansas City was the other option, was it?
No, it was. Wasn't it over my? Did we have Miami? It was Texans over Miami, I think.
Which they would have covered. Yeah. So instead, we're sweating it out.
That's what you like to do, though. You like sweating it out.
Michael Viavac?
What do you think about? We'll just go for like maybe 120 seconds to the world of the National Hockey League.
Go for 120 minutes, dude.
Here he comes. McDavid shoots. Top shelf. He scores. Captain with the overtime winner. That's the middle. That's a world-class hit right here. Tomsky stepping. Rink made the full split save.
Are you kidding me?
Turn. Side of the net. Between the legs and they score. Filthy. David Pasternak. The silver trophy to the Golden Knights.
We have Saul on the line, dude. Saul, you're live on the Sports Bar. What's up,
Saul,
bud?
good, man.
What's going on, boys? How we doing?
Good. Been a long time. How are you, man?
It has. I'm sorry. I apologize. It has been a while. It's been a minute.
No worries, dude.
I feel like the last time we talked to you, there was actually hope for the blue shirts, and now I don't even know how to describe it.
No, it's devastation for all my sports teams. I'm dying. I'm slowly dying. Giants are the worst team in sports.
Yeah, I mean, I would say don't worry about the Yankees though; they'll be fine.
Yeah, I know, but you took a major piece.
You took a major piece, but also you don't win with somebody who doesn't want to be there.
I agree, but it just, I don't know, man.
What do you think, though? I've thought with the Rangers, the reason why they are where they are.
That's the one that's killing me the most.
Oh, it is. It's a big surprise to me.
I love the Rangers.
So do we. And I said after the way that the season ended last year, how could you think that it's just a good plan to just run it back? I mean, it was clear the team needs to improve. They don't do that. And I've told Tony all along, he's very resistant. But I just think you need to trade a lot of these guys. And what they really need, and I'm not saying him specifically, but again, Tony likes to fight me on this, is they need somebody like Connor McDavid. You need a star in the Garden that sets the tone, leads the way. We have too many guys that are kind of middle of the pack.
Stars. I thought we had stars.
Exactly. We're supposed to have stars.
But see, that's the thing. Yeah. I don't know about that. I think you want to say Panarin, but even Panarin, it's like, I mean, is he even a top 10 player in the league? He's, and I know, okay, not everybody
disappears in the playoffs.
But yeah, he disappeared in the playoffs. And then also, I understand not every team is going to have a top 10 player, but if you have your eyes set on hoisting the Stanley Cup, you don't win a Stanley Cup without one star. And I think that's been very evident for a while.
We traded our captain.
Evident, and he was no star. That's for sure.
And then not only did you,
he shouldn't have been captain. That was a mistake.
Yes, but also, is it true? Did Kreider really turn it down like a couple years ago, or
that's
no?
what you said.
I think he did. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a big role. I mean, nobody's number 11 Messi. That's a big role to fill. Big shoes.
So I mean, I don't even know what they could do because I feel like who we have, I just don't feel like we don't have the pieces to acquire somebody we want. We wanted Kachuk. Doesn't seem like we can get Kachuk. So what are we going to do?
Who do you want? I mean, who do you think
Anybody.
could come to this team and change the locker room?
Well, the question is, I don't know who's available too. That's actually like really
that's
good.
The thing. I don't know. I don't see a solution. I just watch it every night and I'm like, this fucking sucks.
Oh, also, I mean, I know you don't know. You're not in the locker room yourself. But what do you think actually happened?
I don't know, man.
Because something must have happened, right, in the locker room?
Something happened because they were hot, and now they're ice cold. Maybe it's the coach. Maybe they don't like the coach. I don't know.
I don't know how you could like the coach. Like, I don't even know what the record is. But all the games that they've lost recently, it's like, I mean, to me, I almost think you have to start there because how does a team completely fall apart with a sound coach who has the locker room behind him?
Ask the Giants. Is there a same coach?
No, I mean, obviously it's a great point, but it's, I mean, it's interesting because after the loss,
I think you lose the locker room and then the guys just give up. It's like,
but what the fuck does that? Like, how does a team give up who just won the President's Trophy, who just had a great push in the playoffs and seemed like that they were
dominant.
one or two guys away from winning a Stanley Cup, dude.
We got the greatest goalie.
And again, it's not even like like we said, we're talking about our usual suspects. We're not there in the playoffs. Like, it's not like you didn't have the guy in the roster that could win you the cup. Like, the roster was there. It's just about putting it together at the right time against a difficult team.
There. We got all the talent in the world.
And it's bullshit. It is bullshit. I think this isn't, I can't sit here and just blame Laviolette, especially when he's the one who seemingly
I can't.
has some answers. I mean, not for nothing, dude. You watch him in the post-game conferences, and it's him saying that the energy isn't there, no one's getting off to the right foot, and he's explaining what they need to do in order to get off the right foot. And I don't know what's going on between this locker room.
I can't blame the coach. I'm not blaming the coach.
But
I'm
even
not
if
the coach.
the players play the game, I understand that. But let's just look at history, fellas. A team has never fallen apart by this. Had their coach say that the energy's not there on the ice or whatever, the court, the field, the diamond, and then survived. The coaches don't survive this. He's not surviving this. There's no way.
Yeah, but I mean,
but he's a good coach. That's
is
the
a great
problem.
But
coach.
He's a
also,
good
but he
fucking
has a
coach.
track record of hopping around. So I think we need to look deeper into this. Why is that? Why?
Yeah,
does
but
he
he's
not-
had.
So you think we need a new coach?
Yeah, because he doesn't. If you don't have the locker room, you don't have
Okay.
anything.
I don't know though,
All right,
but I
then
think
who's out there? Who's out there? Who can we get?
I
I'll take
think
don't say Barry Trotz, dude.
no,
It's not gonna be Montgomery.
No,
It's not, like, it's,
no.
I think Rick DiPietro should coach the Rangers.
I think
Coaching
you would have
Little
a
League.
tough time doing that. But I think whoever's willing, we need somebody from the Rangers past, somebody who knows how to set the tone and win. That's what I would like. I don't care if he hasn't coached, but somebody who sets the tone that's done it before.
Yeah,
I
but
think we need
that's-
someone from our lineage.
but
We need a tough guy.
That was why they brought in Laviolette, because he's someone who can set the tone, who did
But he
set
had
the
no
tone.
connection to the Rangers.
He did set the tone, and then it fell apart.
But that's what is missing. A connection to the Rangers. You think these guys give a fuck whether or not Laviolette played for the Rangers in the past?
Well, I just think, okay, they don't, all right, they don't need to necessarily play for the Rangers, but there needs to be some level of relatability. And I think the problem is he's a good coach, but there's just certain things he does that irks people, and that's the problem. And you need to have that coach that can be hard, but yet understanding at the same time. And I think that's where he struggles.
He likes to mix the lines around a lot, which I'm
You have
not
to
a fan
listen
of.
to your players, but they need to respect you, but you have to listen to them, and you can't, there's certain things you can't do, even if you're all jacked up and that's just always work for you. It doesn't always work for everybody. So there needs to be a good mix of that, and I think that's what he struggles with.
Listen, I understand maybe if you're a perfectionist or whatnot, but you're also a professional hockey player. If you're not doing your job, then like you're gonna get moved, and it's for the benefit of the team. Like you got to figure that out, dude. And I'm telling you right now, the fact that they did trade their captain and nothing has changed, like
That's kind of scary.
I don't think that points to the coach for me, dude.
But
Especially because like it's not like your captain wasn't doing anything.
But I guess give me an example then that a coach that was really good that went through something like this and then just turned it around, stayed there, won a Stanley Cup, because that's what we're going for here. We're trying to win a Stanley Cup. There's no way after this type of collapse, I don't care what the players did, that you could convince me that Peter Laviolette is going to lead the Rangers to a Stanley Cup. There's just no way. You don't survive this. You just don't. We've seen it too many times.
No, it's tough. I mean, again, most recently, especially President's Trophy winners, you think of the Bruins. You know, I mean, they won the President's Trophy, collapsed in the first round, don't really get back to it. They end up losing, firing their coach. But again, I mean, like to even use them as an example further, I mean, what do you hear from the players after they fire Montgomery? We fucked up and we got a good coach, a better person fired. It's like, and now the Bruins are what? They're going to be on the outside this year looking in.
But just because
at
the
playoff
Bruins
situation.
did that doesn't mean that the Rangers will say that. I'm telling you, there's no way that it's all good with him and the players. There's just no fucking way.
Listen, it may not be. There may be a player that has an issue with Laviolette that causes a problem for the whole freaking clubhouse, dude. If you want to go, the whole locker room, which is whatever. But again, I mean,
There's too much talent. There's too much talent on this team to be this bad.
and not only is there too much talent, but like, even if it was a problem with Laviolette, like, why isn't a more veteran player like Chris Kreider like popping
Stepping
up
up.
and being like,
Because
yo,
he put him on the fourth line.
what do you like?
He literally did. He was on the fourth line yesterday.
Which is fine.
It's fine. I mean, he's not a fourth line player.
No, he's not. But he's playing like one. And if he's not, if he's gonna refuse the captaincy, like, why are you on the first line, dude? Like, of course, Laviolette's gonna move around players
then-
when no one's performing.
But then then it seems like you're siding with Laviolette over Kreider. It doesn't seem like you want to trade Kreider, right? But
I
you're
don't
telling me
want
he's
to
not
trade
playing
Kreider.
Well,
I want
I
to
don't
figure
wanna
out.
trade Kreider.
I
I
want
want
to
him to
figure out
step
what's
up and
wrong
be
with
a
the locker
fucking
room.
man.
Not for nothing. If you're Kreider and you're playing on the fourth line, that means you're being defended against not so good defensive pairing. So you should be eating that up. Dude. You should find ways
but I
to
think
score.
that's embarrassing for a player, though.
It is
And
embarrassing
you don't
for the
want
player.
a coach embarrassing a veteran player. It's not a good idea.
What is that? That doesn't have anything to do with it. I mean, look at who's scoring goals for the Rangers. It's Cooley, it's Lafreniere, it's Hedel, it's Mancini, it's Berard. Like, where is Kreider?
No,
Where
but
is
I
Mika?
think-
Why aren't they
I
scoring?
think there's a couple of things here. I understand
where are the
narrative.
veterans?
The Rangers have done this in the past, moving on from coaches too soon. We understand it, but you can't let that deter you from making a change here because this is just a free-falling disaster, and he's not going to automatically just change it.
I totally agree with you, but I don't think the change is within the coach. I think the change is now at this point on the roster. You tried to identify the problem. I thought it was Jacob Trouba. I thought it was the lack of a leader there, but it seems to be a lack of a leader in general, dude, because they're not improving at all, and it's been a little while since you traded Trouba.
And again, I know we're hesitant to make changes here. I think Drury has to come into question. I mean, he sat on his hands all offseason, had a terrible trade deadline last year. Those were two key opportunities to bring this team to the next level, and he failed miserably. And I feel like that doesn't get talked about enough either.
No, I mean, yeah, I guess
right.
so. I
he
mean,
had a good start, but
he had a great
good start.
But it's about how you finish. It's not about how you start.
Last year's deadline,
I'm with you.
the deadline before that, the
agree
offseason, yeah, it hasn't been good. I will say the one bright spot is him getting rid of Trouba. I mean, that loading off that contract was a very impressive move, I would say, by him. Obviously, he was overselling the shit out of Jacob Trouba, which is great. But now, again, at this point, he has to identify now the actual problem. You know, I mean, he's clearly not being dealt the easiest deck of cards here, but regardless, I mean, yeah, I think you want to look to move more people off of this roster if there's a locker room problem. And it does seem that way, again, based on the post-game, conferences here where it's Laviolette talking about the just not showing up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, you don't do that. Like, I don't care who your coach is. If you have a roster as talented as this and you're playing for an organization like the Rangers, I mean, come on.
But I think also you don't – not that that's not evident, but it's like you also don't say that they're showing up. I mean, that almost just seems like he's asking to get fired. Like remove me from this disaster. You know what I mean? How's that, like, play out, in the locker room? I mean, not going to play out well. It doesn't matter if they deserve it. I'm just saying there's just certain ways things should be handled, Tony. It doesn't seem like they're being handled the right way.
Well, obviously not, because the outcomes aren't there. You're losing a lot of games here. You're not looking great. And yeah, maybe part of it is on how Laviolette is reacting, but what do you expect? Like, he's a no-nonsense guy. Like, and he's pretty, like, black and white. Like, this is what it is, and if you don't do
He's
this,
very direct.
Like, yeah, you're not going to get shifts if you're not playing well. That's the way he rolls. So if you're not playing well, I would refuse to believe that this guy is not within some type of reason, dude. Not for nothing. Like,
can we just get more? This is a problem. My biggest problem with the Rangers.
Mm-hmm.
Pucks to the net. We don't need fancy goals. There's not a play. It's fucking hockey. Shoot the fucking thing.
Yeah.
Get it on net. What are we doing?
Yeah, how about
the power play? It's like a ballet. It's like, what are we doing? Fucking shoot it.
Drive to the net at least. The last person I've seen drive to the net with the puck is like Sam Carrick.
Be aggressive.
Exactly.
But how long have we been talking about that? That was
They're
at
soft.
the best
The
of
Rangers
their
are
times.
soft.
The best of their times they were doing
They're
that.
soft.
Yeah.
They're soft.
Yeah.
We got a soft team.
So
Nobody's out there grinding.
It's a
The only
massive.
grinder is Ryan Lindgren. That guy
sure,
will
dude.
kill anybody.
But yeah, I mean, it makes you feel like,
Just shoot the puck.
that you really.
It's like pass. Half a minute of power play is passing.
But
How about 20 shots?
It almost makes you feel like they need to make moves like right now, or otherwise it might be too late. By the way, like in terms of, but like I'm talking about big moves. Whether it's trading Kreider, whether it's trading Mika, whether even maybe Vinny T or Panarin, just because those guys at least have value. Teams will want them. Maybe you could get the right.
And
mix
who are
of
you going to
guys.
get for them? Who are we trading them for?
See, that's the problem. I don't have the depth.
There's nobody out there to get.
But I think the thing is, it's almost going to have to turn into almost a rebuild because there's no star out there.
Can't do a rebuild.
But you know what I mean? You can't do a rebuild, but then we can't do this either.
I mean, I'm looking at top free agents here going into 2025.
Who you got?
Well, I mean, Mitch Marner is someone you want to circle. Obviously, someone who warrants a lot of money. But I mean, not for nothing, Toronto has a lot of big contracts. They may be looking to offload John Tavares, also another free agent. Not to be interested in him, but I would imagine Toronto won't be able to re-sign all these guys. Mikko Rantanen off of Colorado. I mean, that would be someone obviously Colorado will be looking to re-sign. But again, just maybe
we need dogs. We need dogs. We need fucking game. You know what I mean?
Not for nothing. Rantanen is an absolute dog. I know,
but I feel like a team like Colorado, they're looking to add, not subtract.
I love Ivan Provorov off of Columbus. Honestly, the D man. I think he's a great defender. I think even before Columbus, he's on the Flyers with Torts. So, I mean, I think he's used to maybe someone who's a little bit harsher on the players. I guess you got Brock Besser off of the Canucks is not bad, I suppose. But again, it's tough in terms of absolute dogs here. I mean, the list isn't long.
You know what I mean? We need tough guys. That's my point. We need some guys who can play hockey and also fucking, mess people up.
Like Sam Bennett, he's gonna be unrestricted free agent off of Florida. So like again, talk about dogs. Their entire lineup are a bunch of dogs, dude.
But these are teams. I just feel like they're not subtracting guys. That's the problem.
I'm trying to think. Again,
guys,
Florida, a lot of big contracts. They may want to look to offload.
I think they're like, let's win the cup back to
No,
back.
yeah, you're not wrong.
Yeah. Right? I mean, that's what I would be thinking.
I mean, the Blue Jackets would be one. Ivan Provorov, defenseman. I think he's a good defenseman.
But don't we need guys like a forward though? I know we should probably trade a forward or two, but we need one forward. There's no way we don't need one forward that's score at will, that's physical.
I would say Mitch Marner would be someone to go after. Then you free up the cap space after Trouba here. He makes $10 million a year, 10.9 it looks like.
But what? They haven't won in 50 years. I mean, you don't think they want to win either, though? Like,
yeah, of course, but they're also known for fucking blowing it, dude.
No, I know, but I still think it's like with a good record, there's not motivation. It's really about the teams that are struggling. The problem is with the teams that are struggling, they don't really have the guys that we want. Isn't that really the biggest issue?
No, yeah, you're not wrong, but that's why, I mean, you're going to have to end up trading away maybe too much to get someone off of a good team. Like, it's just going to be what happens.
Tricky situation. And
all right.
Yeah.
So the big question is, who we trading to get a dog? Who do you want to let go?
It's not going to get us a big package, but number one, who I've been dying to get rid of for a while is Mika. I just feel like it's like he's past his prime. He should be part of a package. I don't think it's like he's the feature piece.
I love him. I love Mika Zibanejad.
I saw him.
He's making too many fucking mistakes.
He's out to lunch.
How much does he make a year?
He's declining. He definitely makes like $9 million or something, right, Tony?
Is it that much?
Okay.
8? Maybe. Let's see what we got going on here. Mika's contract.
But when that shot hit, when he hits that shot, when he's in the spot, the one-timer.
Yeah, I mean, if it wasn't a once-a-month thing,
but
I
he
would
misses
be
more
all
than
about it.
He misses more than he makes, which pisses me off.
Was
it's
it
like,
8.5?
Yeah, dude, he induces himself to stupid turnovers, dude. Sometimes he's just again out to lunch in terms of back checking, and it's
all right, well.
Last question for you before you go here, Saul. Nashville, I think it's on Wednesday. Do you think we lose again in Nashville?
When is that,
Nashville?
tomorrow?
No way, dude.
No, it's Wednesday.
No.
Nashville
We
fucking
can't lose.
sucks.
Yeah,
dude.
no, I know they suck.
If we lose to Nashville, then trade everybody. Get rid of everybody.
Laviolette, tight revenge
I
spot.
think especially 6-0 in Nashville.
Keep Fox.
Lost.
You got to keep Fox.
I love Fox. I love So, but I think that would be the backbreaker for Dolan if they lose 6-0 in Nashville. 100%.
Fox and Igor and
Laffy.
And Lindgren.
Lindgren. Berard, of course. But yeah.
No, there's Cheadle. I mean, there's plenty of people we got to keep. But
yeah,
dude, if you got to make trades to make the team better, do it.
Do it right now. So hopefully they do. So hopefully
keep
the free
the
fall
keepers.
ends soon, Saul. But
it's painful.
Yeah, no,
So
it is.
painful,
It
dude.
is. But really appreciate you calling in, and definitely give us a call back anytime soon. And hopefully next time it's on better times for the Rangers. All right.
I will. Sooner than later.
All right.
yeah,
Pleasure
brother.
talking to you.
As always.
You too, man. Have
Peace
a good
out.
one. And then, Michael had the Michael Villafil. Glad Saul's alive. Get McDavid starts now. Josh B says Saul good. Tommy said bring Torts back. Michael Bucka. Hey Barnes. See cars in the background. That is dope, dude.
Yeah, I
Tony,
knew
you
about
listen
that.
to the Radio Springs on Disneyland. I'm putting up to them. I'm doing my homework assignment. Sorry, Michael. I don't think today is the time for that. But we'll talk more about the Rangers as the week progresses. But before we get out of here, the lightning round, Tony. The Monday Frozen Frenzy.
Oh, let's freaking go, dude. A light slate today, I believe, right? 3 games?
Yes.
Lightning round, dude. The Lightning are not playing today, though. We're going to start off here Let's go to Dallas, okay? It's the Stars round, all right? As the Stars take on the Capitals. The Caps, we know, 21-6-2. They're doing pretty well. They're plus 135 on the money line, plus money against the Stars. Tough matchup, but could be value there, especially since early in October, the Caps beat the Stars 3-2 at home. Over-under is 5.5, which, again, recalling the last score, the last time we met, it went under. Caps, 4-game win streak. Stars, a little bit of a skid, losing 3 of their last 5. Just forced one in OT to beat the Blues the other day. Do the Stars maybe get back and right the ship here at home, dude?
Something's got to give. Capitals 12-2 away. Stars 12-3 at home. I think it's a classic game. Mac Duchene, Strome, overtime shootout. And Dylan Strome, the dream season for Washington continues. The winner in the shootout. Capitals in the under 3-2.
I like the under call. I'm going to go Dallas, though. I think Jake Ottinger here due for his second shutout of the season. Caps are due to not score, I feel. Stars on the bounce back. They win 2-0. Next game here, second game here, 8:30 p.m. NHL Network. We're going to Edmonton. Oilers taking on the Panthers here in Alberta. Florida plus 105. Anytime Florida's plus money could be worth the value there. Over under is 6.5. First time these two offensive powerhouses are facing each other, Brian. Edmonton here working on a 5-game winning streak. Panthers have won 3 of their last 5, but they're on a 2-game losing streak. Just got shut out. Back-to-back shutouts, Brian, against Vancouver, against Calgary. Do they get shut out completely by Canada?
Not only the first matchup of the season, but first matchup since Game 7 of last summer's Stanley Cup Finals.
Wow.
The revenge. And I hope Michael Villafil is watching right now because Connor McDavid is going to show why he is a legend and needs to be part of the New York Rangers. He's going to have 5 points in this one, a hat trick, and 2 assists in an absolute barn burner. But one of those goals is the game winner, last minute of regulation. Oilers, 5-4. Oilers in the over.
Enough of that, dude. Give me a break. Florida shut out 2 games. Hasn't happened. I don't even know when, dude. I think they made an example of Edmonton. Show Edmonton in the world that the Oilers are not a complete team here. The Panthers spread the wealth. Reinhart, Kachuk, Barkov, Bennett, Verhage. Who else? Anyone else gets a goal, dude. Skinner, Picard pulled. Edmonton may even put the Zamboni guy in there. Panthers in the over. They win 6-1, dude. Panthers and the over. Next game, last game here, 10:30 p.m. Sticking in Canada. Yeah, Vancouver, British Columbia here, taking on the Colorado Avalanche. Great matchups tonight. Small slate, but great slate. Over under is 5.5. Colorado minus 155. Vancouver plus 135. Plus money at home. That's interesting. Canucks struggling. Losers of 3 of the last 5. Avalanche winners of 4 of the last 5, including a 5-2 decisive victory against Nashville. Are the Avs coming into Vancouver and taking care of business?
Yes, Tony. I know it would be tempting. Oh, plus 135 at home. Nonsense, nonsense, nonsense. The Avs are slowly but surely forming into that team that we know that won the Cup a couple years ago. So I think they win this one. I think a strong offensive performance out of them. The new goaltender scenario, I think, bodes well as well. I think it's a tight game all the way through. Avs empty netter, Nathan McKinnon to ice it with 30 seconds left. Avs 4-2. Avs in the under.
Josh B in class right now. Write this down, dude. Vancouver, Vancouver. Plus 135, dude. Kevin Lankinen, the tender for the Canucks here, tied for a league-leading 3 shutouts. He's been killing it so far. Avs have been known to be struggling with their tender. I think the Canucks get the best of them here. Why not Jake DeBrusk, the overtime winner? Canucks win 2-1. Canucks in the under, dude.
Just like that. That is your Monday night frozen frenzy. Just saw this across my screen. According to Brian Hoke, industry sources view the Yankees as the most likely fit for Christian Walker, which I'm a little humdrum on, but I know he's been one of the better first basemen in the National League last couple of years, had the injury last year, so you would hope it's a short-term deal And as always, he will be welcomed in the Bronx with open arms if that is the case.
Oh, yeah, dude.
A couple more comments here. Tommy saying, see the president, Marshall. Yes, Tommy, I like that one. Has the championship pedigree as well, right, Tony?
Yeah, that'd be great.
And that's actually a really good one.
He's a dog,
we were
dude.
looking for something like that.
And we
honestly.
just said how he should have never left Vegas.
Vegas, yep.
Yeah.
And then Michael Theophil says Michael Viaphil. That's a new one, LOL. But yes, Brian, you know it. Referring to McDavid. But wow, Tony, I mean, we would have a little under 22 hours left on the 24-hour stream. I mean, we could just continue it right now, no?
I might as well, right?
Going,
Yeah, you brought your PlayStation, right?
Oh, yeah,
sports
I think
going,
some
dude?
car.
Yeah,
No,
dude.
but
Probably been in the car since last week in the cold.
No,
yeah.
I'm just kidding. It's at home. But I need you to get some sleep, honestly. That's the thing.
Yes, that's the
Otherwise,
plan,
we would
dude.
do it. But what a marathon today. But great to be back from the weekend and share it with all of you, and tons of comments, and the Saul call was great.
Great Saul call.
But we really encourage everybody to continue to comment, like, and subscribe. All of the archives in the YouTube page, Tony Michael Renee and Jay Costa, the merch at downtownreview.com. Want everybody to enjoy the day, enjoy the games, and we will see you mañana.
Hey guys, Tony here from Downtime TV checking in. I want to thank all our fans out there who's been liking, subscribing, sharing our content. You guys are the best. You guys are our bloodline. You make us love what we do. Thanks again.